and welcome to episode number 31 of the Town Hall meeting. I'm going to be joined by, I guess, starting with three guests today here. In the top left, we've got an atrocious background, but the godfather of Warcraft 3 himself. It's Yanis Sharks, if I'm saying that right, aka Neo. What's going on?
All good, mate. Casted 3 Clan Wars today. Now ready to talk some more about Warcraft.
In the top right, nice little room. A little bit messy, you know. I guess you're taking after Hitman. He's your life mentor. After all, we got the Cleaver Man, Carson. What's going on?
Hello. Not much. Did some coaching. I played a little bit of Animal Crossing, and now we're going to talk about some Warcraft. I'm remembering the days, Todd, when we've done a few of these now. I remember the days when I used to be nervous to come on the town halls. Now look at us.
And now you don't give a shit. You don't even tidy up the bed, nothing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one.
And then we got the Thug Life Mr. himself, the guy with the best content with the weapons and the shadow boxing at Dreamhack. Krav, what's up?
Hello. I'm good. And you, Todd? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Nice.
Excited to talk to you guys. Today, we are going to have two main topics. Number one is going to be, we're going to do a Dreamhack recap, if that's even possible, because it feels like so much happens. And number two, we're going to talk about Warcraft 3's future. So let's get right into it. I guess we'll go with Neo first. Most of the time, it's nice to keep the same flow. And you already did the podcasts on the Back to Warcraft Patreon and YouTube that's recap the event, which I didn't have time to watch. So you're gonna have to summarize it for us and for me a little bit if you can, for those of us that missed
I watched it.
I know we're infidels for missing it, but you're gonna have to do it anyway.
For the second time today, I'm very disappointed in you, Todd. Nice, good job.
Not the last.
Not the last, that's for sure. The title of the podcast is the DreamHack's finals were just the best, or something like that, and that's what I feel. Not necessarily because of the games, especially the playoffs, but because of the camaraderie between all the people. There was really, really something special between us as casters and the production team and the players as well. There was just 5 days of pure fun and joy, and that was probably the best event I ever worked at.
Wait, that short a summary? I was expecting.
I mean, I talked about this for an hour already. Maybe it's better to get some fresh impressions and I chip in here and there.
All right, Carson.
Yeah, so recency bias is a thing, and also I would have a bias that this is my only offline event I've ever worked. But yeah, when I was there after the group stage, it was I was like, wow, this might be one of the best tournaments ever. If the playoffs, if the quarterfinals and semis and grand final are as good as the group stages were, this could have very well ended up being the greatest offline tournament ever, with the caveat of people would always say where the Chinese players, whereas Lin, of course, people are always going to make some sort of bullshit up about, it wasn't the top competitors, or what this condition was wrong or something like that. There's always going to be some caveat from people, but it was good. It was good. Hearing Neo say that it was the best offline event he's ever worked, or one of them for sure. That makes me happy, because it did feel like a really great event. And I didn't know if it was just me just be like, oh, we're offline for like finally, me just recency bias and my first time and all that. So yeah, it was great. I felt it was a great event. I thought the production was really, really good. I thought you guys all killed it. I thought all the games were very entertaining. All the players showed up with, with some of their best performances. I felt like a lot of the underdogs overperformed, and a lot of the overdogs underperformed. Overdogs? That thing? Sure, let's say that.
Favorites.
The favorites overperformed. I like overdogs. Come on. I like overdogs. Yeah, they were maybe a little bit of an underwhelming performance, especially from some of the people in the semis, like maybe a Moon. Laliat played great, but then everyone's sort of terrified of Happy. It seems like, I don't know what's up with that. Everyone's terrified of Happy, and the guy plays really, really good, but he also has that fear aura that I thought only Americans had naturally, but apparently Happy has it as well.
Krav?
Yeah, it was an amazing event. I wanted to share it with everyone, as you can see with my Twitter. yeah, so I try to treat with my manager Antoine, trying to make some interview of the players the first day, taking picture with everyone. Yeah, and the last 2 day I stay at the hotel because it was an amazing experience with other players too. So yeah, I try to take photo too, and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you turned into a reporter, which I thought was really cool because then you were just doing
Yeah.
interview with everyone
Yeah.
back there, asking them a bunch of questions. So that was very. I mean, it's, you know, you might have a future in reporting. I'm just saying, like, just look into
So
it.
it's
The scene needs that. The scene needs that so much. I mean, there is some War3 info articles and stuff. There's been a couple people that have tried to do some stuff, but I mean, we need some more reporting. We need some more journalism in this scene.
Yeah.
For once, god damn it.
If you guys missed any of the games, I really like that the video or the VODs got posted on Back to Warcraft because it's so clean as well. Like you can literally see which match, you know, is where, whatever it says, like what phase it was in the tournament, and then each match is individually posted. So you don't even have to go through the downtime and the ads and stuff that were there for the live. And the VODs also includes the interviews, I believe, and the pre-match segments, like whatever on the desk and stuff, like the weatherman segments. Look at us, dressed all sharp over there. All sharp.
Todd, you're so big, it's unbelievable. It's so huge, unbelievable. Yeah, that was something that was really important to me because in Warcraft, live viewership is not the greatest, but people put a lot more emphasis on YouTube. But for the ESL and Dreamhack, it's the opposite. They really care about Twitch and they don't care at all about YouTube. So we had seasons where the VODs were just posted 3 weeks after the event or something, if we were lucky. So we were kind of negotiating about them using our overlay, which eventually worked out really well. But one of my proposals was, okay, I give you a discount, but for that I do get the VOD rights for YouTube. And it was the best for all of us, I guess. We get good content, we get some YouTube ad money. ESL doesn't care about YouTube, and you guys got the games faster. So, win-win solution for everybody.
Yeah, it was also nice that they uploaded the replays as well, which I'm still waiting for the Asia winner replays, but I'm pretty sure they were all up like the day after the tournament. So that's great for people like me that really like watching replays. I try to watch every replay from every major tournament as much as I can, but sometimes they're just not uploaded for some Chinese tournaments and for some of the DreamHack seasons. But for this, they're right on the money, which is beautiful. Hey, look, there I am. Look at me.
Dude, I didn't realize that Insub gave a boom 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 in the fire thing at the end.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, what the hell? I didn't realize during the actual live. That's so funny. Look, he was already doing it. What a guy. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. We have that. My own recap. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't want to go for an hour or something, but
Go for an hour. Do it.
I would
We
say
gotta
like
fill, dude.
it's really cool that we had like such a long circuit. Which, first of all, like we've been through so many highs and lows in the scene. I feel like, right? It's like Reforge gets announced. It's like everybody's getting a little giddy. We're like, oh my god, something's big is happening for our game, and then it's the worst time ever. Like it comes out, it's just garbage. We get the lowest rating on Metacritic. We're a joke. But at the same time, there's still a circuit that's announced, so it's still kind of good. And then the circuit unfolds, and at first we don't know if there's going to be offline events. We're supposed to be going to Sweden, Australia, all that stuff, but suddenly we're not going anywhere because of COVID. So it's like we got double shafted, but we still have a circuit happening, so we can't complain too much. It's still pretty cool to have that stuff online, but it's region locked. And then it creates this crazy hype for finally having certain offline matches that we never got like happy against, certain players from Asia that we hadn't seen in a long time. The Hitman against X-Lord that finally happened as well, and that, in my opinion, delivered. And I think that I was just so hyped for this. I couldn't wait. And we get there, and then I start seeing some of the previews, things that they do with the fire and stuff. And honestly, sometimes you go to certain tournaments. I've cast so many on StarCraft, and it's just the games and casting, and it's fun and it's great, but there's just not that extra spice, that extra content and stuff. But now I think they did such a good job with the piece that they did on us, where we're like preparing, and it's like a funny thing that they posted on Twitter as well. That was also really good. And yeah, we finally got a lot of the matches that we wanted to see happen for a long time. We got to hang out together, and I think it was just really sick, like how everything unfolded without a hitch. There was really not many problems. Like when the overlay was broken in one game, but like I mean, come on, like it's not the end of the world. Even though to the chat it was probably the case for a while.
Unacceptable.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, there was such a good camaraderie to like hang out with everyone, having a chat, and then at the end, I don't very often go to the post-event parties, but this time I tried to go, even though I had a shuttle at 5:20 a.m. Which, by the way, as I stepped out of the hotel, Remo was coming back to the hotel at 5:20. Just saying.
I saw him as well.
Yeah, what a guy. But no, I think it was sick. It was a sick way to conclude the long 2-year circuit that we've had with Dreamhack. And yes, while it's sad that there's not going to be any more Dreamhack circuit, it's also we got it to an epic finale which happened offline, and I think that's more than certain games could have dreamt of, right? Certain games out there, I'm sure they're great also, but they don't have their own circuit ever. It's really for the community to organize stuff. And now we got a 2-year circuit, which was pretty fun to take part of as commentator for me. I'm sure it was great for the players, and we got the epic finale, so I can't complain about that. I think it's pretty awesome. Of course, it's sad that next year there isn't that, but it leads into the next topic, like Warcraft 3's future, because I keep hearing, Warcraft is dead and all that kind of garbage. And it's frustrating because I've already experienced that in StarCraft. At the end of Wings of Liberty, like, okay, so when StarCraft 2 came out, I'm moving on into another subject kind of. When StarCraft 2 came out, it was the biggest game that's almost like some people say started esport. It was really, really big. There was a lot of viewers, a lot of eyes on the game. And then it started going down as other games went up in popularity, like League of Legends or whatever. And then some people started getting on that bandwagon of saying like StarCraft is dead because it's going down in player base, in viewers, and the other games are doing so much better. And I always thought, like, what does that mean, dead? Like, right, there's still people playing and stuff. And then StarCraft to this day, in my opinion, has a healthy scene. There is like thousands of people watching. There's a circuit with a lot of tournaments. It does good viewership. So I don't really understand what is it like. If a game is not number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in esport, is it dead then? Like, like it's a little bit weird. Unless you think that because there is no DreamHack circuits, maybe there's not going to be any tournaments happening anymore. Everybody's going to quit. All the casters are going to be like, fuck this. I'm going to another game. All the players are going to be like, I'm going to another game as well. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. Maybe some players will get demotivated, but I think there will still be people working on the game. Carson, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I almost think it's like this is very, very common. It happens in Counter-Strike. I follow a lot of different games for esports and stuff like Counter-Strike and TF2, smaller games. There's a game called Paladins. It's like an Overwatch clone that I played. I played Overwatch as well, Brood War, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy with a lot of these games. Like the game starts to not do as well as its competitor. Counter-Strike starts to not do as well as Valorant, for instance. Warcraft starts to not do as well as an AoE, or StarCraft starts to not do as well as whatever League of Legends or Dota 2. And then the whole community turns on it and says, dead game, dead game, dead game. They tweet dead game. The Reddit posts are all about a dead game. There's a tournament going on and they say, Omega Lol, 15K viewers, dead game, whatever. And then that actually ends up impacting sponsorships. It ends up impacting people's motivation to play, people's motivation to compete. People see dead game and they think, okay, I got to switch games. I got to jump ship. So it really is a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is a huge problem that every game has had. That isn't the top dogs, that isn't the Valorant, the League of Legends, the Dota 2. People just constantly do this in every scene. I've experienced this with every single game that I've enjoyed because I've never really played the very tippity top games. It always happens, and it's been happening in Warcraft for years, and it's definitely not a positive thing. It doesn't help. And even though it might be true for Warcraft more so than the other titles, specifically StarCraft 2, I think it's really, it has ruined some scenes. I think in StarCraft, this is a huge problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but this was such a huge thing even like 5-6 years ago where people just would not shut the fuck up about this whole dead game meme when it came to StarCraft.
Yeah, yes, for sure. It's been something that's I've seen a lot. But to be honest, I feel like the people that say that, they're like, it doesn't change anything. They're going to probably leave either way. They're like on their way out. So they almost try to make it dramatic because maybe they've lost interest in the game or they're just like being like very negative or whatever. Yeah, I don't really understand it because for me, I'm stuck with the same game so far for like all my life, Like I had so many opportunities to do other games and I never did so far. Sometimes I've been close to starting to cast other games, but again, I haven't. So yeah, I don't really understand. And even if like like for example, I'm not casting much StarCraft anymore, but I'm not going around saying no, it's a fucking dead game anyway. Like that's just so stupid. And even now, let's say if I wanted to do something else than Warcraft, I don't think I would be like dead game. I would be saying that most likely not. So yeah, Neo, do you have an opinion on this?
Not really. I feel like there's different kinds of personalities. Some people just like to ride hype waves and jump on new games as soon as they come out and use their initial momentum. And other people just love a certain game and stay with it until there's, I don't know, 5 players anymore. And this DreamHack final was certainly an event that showed me that the core of the scene really, really loves this game, despite all the issues and despite so many mistakes that were made. There are thousands of people who just love this game to death, and as long as these people are there, it's definitely not a dead game because there's still people, there's still support from like w3's champions, from the community to crowdfund tournaments, from media people like us who do content around that game. As long as that's happening, game is not dead. It's of course not number one on the leaderboards of Twitch, but far away from dead. People just like to spit on people who are down, or spit on games that are down or having a bad time and ride the bandwagon, but fuck these guys.
Prav,
True.
what do you think?
Yeah. Well, sadly, we don't have the help of Blizzard. The first when they, how to say, when Reforged comes. So yeah, for sure, it's difficult to have new players, but we love this game. We play inside, so we are a kid. So say yes. So I don't want to think about it. Everything can die and revive. So I trust in the time and I trust in the community for sure. And we have to think like this, I think, because we love this game and yeah, l'alliance, community.
I would like to talk a little bit more about DreamHack. Do you guys have any highlights, like not just necessarily like in terms of like series or games, but like what was for you the 3 best things perhaps about DreamHack, if you can even think of something right now? I mean, I'm sure obviously everybody's gonna say
chicken burger, the 2-patty burger, and then that dipping sauce.
yeah, just so you guys know, in the chat, we only ever ordered from 2 different places. And if it was up to Roddy, it would have been one. It would have been that Pung place, like the sushi place. Or Roddy only ate one single thing the whole week there. So, but yeah, no, Neo, can you think of something like what were the best things other than perhaps hanging out with everybody?
Yeah, the first one I mentioned on the podcast already. I've been watching this game for 17 years or something, and at some point, Remind and Focus were meeting each other in every single Zotac Cup final. It was around 2010, maybe, or 2009. So that was just week after week after week. That game would be the best of 5 grand final, and of course, I would watch that. And then a little bit later, you, Todd in Rotterdam, did the commentary for the GOM TV tournament, and for a long time, I thought that is the best cast that a Warcraft tournament has ever had. I know you and Roddy have some different opinion on that, but I was just a huge fan of your commentary. So with those 2 things in mind, it's day 1 of the tournament. I'm standing at the desk. You and Roddy are next to me, and the game is Focus Remind. That was so weird. That was such a blast from the past, and I thought, what would this 15-year-old Neo think if he could see me right now? That was a blast from the past, but also a reality check. That was a cool emotional moment right there.
You know what they say, never meet your heroes, right?
That is true
God damn
for other casters I've met, but Todd, you've been good so far.
Carson?
You son of a bitch. For those of you that aren't aware of what the hell we're talking about, there was a lot going on in the gym Discord. Actually, that would be one of my favorite things outside of the event itself was the fucking gym Discord the whole time posting memes. But there's so many memes going back and forth, and Todd snaps a photo of me not wearing my mask in the hotel. It was down because I was talking. He posted in the gym Discord and says, "Never meet your heroes." Carson the anti-masker. Yeah, so that's that's what Tom was slipping in there. Yeah, well, my favorite part of the event, you said it can't really include everyone, but honestly, I think the coolest thing about the event overall for me, even though I had been to Anaheim, but no one really knew who I was at Anaheim. I was just more of a fan when I was there, whereas now I actually felt, more so part of the community itself. Um, was just the fact that everyone's actually really cool. You expect it to be like everyone to be a lot different in person. Like you expect everyone to be. I for one, I'm not like a big talker. I don't talk a lot. I just sort of do my thing, and then I don't drink. I don't tend to socialize a ton. I play video games. I play music, and I go home. So I was actually surprised that I was probably the least talkative of everyone. Where you expect when you get a room full of 30 gamers together, there's at least going to be someone that's a lot different online from how they are in person. But everyone's really cool. Everyone's really cool. I got to meet Insup for the first time. I got to meet Cruncher for the first time. Didn't know what to expect from them. They were exactly the same as online. There was pretty much every single person there was as genuine and in person as they are when you talk to them in a Discord or something like that. When you chat to them in a lobby, getting ready for a game or something like that. So that was the cool thing. It kind of gave me hope for this whole internet socializing thing that we all take part in, that everyone really is genuine, that was there. At least everyone really is cool. Everyone really is who they actually are and who they pretend to be online. It's not an act, especially for people I'd never met, like Rotterdam, for instance. Like he's from what I've seen on broadcast, talking to him in person, not on camera, he's exactly the same, which is dope. And we're all we all are different people, maybe sometimes in the actual game itself, but I mean in the Discords, when we're talking at a town hall like this, when we're talking in a Twitch chat, it's cool. It's cool. It gives me faith in the internet that everyone was very genuine.
Prav, what was the top 3 best things, or like the best things for you about Dreamhack?
The interview, I really enjoy it.
You mean the ones that you did?
Yeah, I one interview. No, I can say the interview. Yeah, I have a lot of moments. So yeah, the interview with the players, I really enjoy it to speak with them, and at the studio speaking with players, uh, like Orc or Insep, nice moment with them, and at the hotel with Lucifer, X-Lord, Foggy. We're watching a game of Happy and Laudiat or Moon, I don't remember. And yeah, it was I really enjoying. I was on the bed and I just check, oh, X-Lord and Foggy, I am with them, bro. I really enjoying it, yeah. Yeah, so far. But yeah.
Who was
Yeah, whenever
We
I
have
saw you,
to,
it felt like you had the biggest smile on your face the entire 5 days.
yeah, bro. I really, it was a dream of a kid, to be here.
For sure.
And the time give me this, so yeah, of course. And maybe my game against Focus on Echo Island, yeah,
Holy shit,
was smart, yeah.
yeah.
And who was the people, or like the player that you got along with the most? Was it Mikael? Because I saw like you were hanging out with him a lot and stuff. And
Yeah,
anything you can tell us?
Mikael, yeah, and Xlot. Mikael, yeah, we share the shirt for sure, because Lucifer is for me a legend. I watch him when I was a kid, like you. So for me, he's one of the best indeed, in the past I watching. So it was an honor for me. It's like for you, Todd, you have fans, women players. Like I don't know if you know, Hanima, the French player. You are in fan, really.
I don't know about that. I think he didn't like losing to me too much on ladder. So, Neo, what about that moment on the photo in your background when Lolite won? Because you're pretty close with Lolite. So, can you tell us about that friendship and what it was like to see him win a series like this?
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
What was the series again? Actually, again.
I did this multiple times, so I have no idea which series this one was. Maybe day 2. I did this after every game, basically. So it was really cool. I came from the airport to the hotel, and Lolite was already waiting in the lobby. Like, what the fuck? It's been 10 months or 11 months since we've seen us, and we know each other for 6 years. And pretty much every event that he was there too, right? So we go way back, and I know how hard he's working for this big title, and it never really worked, and he got so close. And I thought, okay, this time might really be his thing, his day, or his weekend, whatever. And he came real prepared, and we had a really good time at, I don't know, at dinner, over a beer in the hotel lobby, etc. And I don't know, it's just would have been such a cool story if he made it. And I know that he was not as confident in him as I was in him, so I tried to support him as much as I could. And I don't know, it was just a fitting moment. I think this was the series versus Hawk in the lower bracket, which was really freaking close, and he was about to be eliminated just as he was from the regional finals. But he clawed his way back somehow in this crazy game 3, where it was
Shadowgrave, right?
Yeah, I was so
he should have lost
nervous.
that. Like, it's
No,
a crazy
of course
comeback.
not. But it was a freaking crazy comeback, and I was sweating because I was so nervous. Then it was all over, and he won, and it was just that moment. It felt so right to do that and celebrate a bit together. And this wonderful photographer caught all these moments on that day, and on the day afterwards, and also after the grand final when it wasn't that good of a time. But she caught all the moments, and yeah, I will never forget that.
Yeah, it's reminiscent for me of an event in StarCraft. I think it must have been like maybe 2014 or something, where Lil Bo, a French Protoss, he went to Poland and then he faced like a lot of the best Europeans in WCS Europe, and he beat all of them. And then he was very close with Funka, our observer at the time. And there was these great shots of Lil Bo. I think it's before he won the semi, or maybe after he won the finals. They're just walking towards each other on stage, and they just embrace each other, and like Funka is like so happy for him and stuff. It was really cool. So that kind of reminded me of that, actually, personally. Carson, I didn't ask you about this, did I?
Yeah, the original question was sort of like your favorite people from the event to meet. Was that sort of the general idea?
No, also like just, or even like your top 3 moments, or like just everything that like you really enjoyed. Because you said everybody was like the same or something as online, but was there? Like, I think people want to hear some stories as well. So if you have any stories of like something specific that happened, I think that'd be pretty funny. Oh, good.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of actual stories because we were just so busy. But like my favorite moments were obviously Hitman beating Xlord. Like the thing is, like I was trying to be unbiased the whole time I'm casting, right? Especially in the versus Stock series and the Hitman versus Xlord series. But obviously, guys, you know, I'm clearly cheering for Hitman. I obviously want him to win the whole tournament, and obviously Cruncher as well. I would like to have seen in stuff I'd like to see go far, but past the group stage there was no opportunity. So Hitman, like those were the big highlights in terms of games for me. Was the Hitman versus Xlord and the Hitman versus Sock series. That those were big highlights. We the main things was like hanging out with the Dust guys because I hadn't met Cruncher before. I hadn't met Insup either, which was cool to meet him, the one Canadian there. So hanging out with them was nice. I remember there was one night at the hotel. I think it was after the second day, maybe it was the third day. We were hanging out in the hotel lobby for a little bit, and everyone went up for a while. But then me, Hitman, and Cruncher just sort of hung out for a while. And Bidu was texting me over the whole week. He kept texting me, like saying things like, "Ask this," or get Hitman to do this, or is he prepared? So I called Ricky on Discord, the 3 of us, and we talked to Ricky for like 30 minutes or something, which was nice because I know he was a little bit bummed to not be able to meet Cruncher and stuff. He had Hitman. Nice photo. There we go. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. I still need to tweet that out. So that was a nice moment that we actually, we got to at least call poor Ricky and be like, hello, hello, this is everyone. We're all friends. We don't all hate each other in person. So like the moments with them, and then but honestly, there wasn't a ton of like, if you're looking for some juicy content stories, there wasn't a ton. I mean, Insup being very loud in the hotel was one. Insup is a very loud drunk, extremely. He actually scream talks. We were having I think we were in Roddy's hotel room that night. Todd, I don't think you were there, but it was me, Roddy, Neo, Remo, Hitman, Cruncher, Insup. And we were talking about UFC and stuff. And I'm talking to Hitman and Cruncher about the games because this is right after Hitman had beat Sock, so he had to have played Laliat next, I think. Yeah, he had to play Laliat next. And we're trying to talk about the game. Like, what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to go Lords? Is he going to play Pure Standard? Will he play Demon Hunter on LR? And Insup is just telling stories with Neo, just screaming. And we're having to yell to talk over him.
Do you remember what this was about? Because I
No.
do. It was about what the best Beyblade was back in the day, or what the best
Fucking hell.
Yu-Gi-Oh card was. Like total nerd 16-year-old anime discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. That was pretty much one of the few nights that we actually got to hang out. And then there was obviously the arcade, which was a lot of fun. Short and sweet, but we played some pool, some weird rules. I don't know, my North American boys might be able to back me on this. They had it so when you the last ball you sink, you have to sink the 8 ball in the opposite pocket to that. So bottom right corner, top left is what they played. Europeans, man, Europeans. They also played ball in hand.
You're just making up excuses because I beat your ass at pool.
You guys did play great. You played great. Yeah, so it was me and Cruncher versus Neo and Remo. It was America versus Europe. And just like every clan war, we just barely lost, but they cheated. That was fun. That was fun. Those were some fun moments. It was just really, really nice to be able to meet Cruncher finally. We had breakfast on the last day, and we went to the airport together. And then because security lines were so long and we had different check-ins, we didn't actually get to say a proper goodbye, unfortunately. I was like, okay, I'll see you when we get through security. But then I was in security for like 2 hours. So I had to text him and be like, well, guess this is goodbye, Cruncher. So we didn't get a proper goodbye, but it was really cool to meet him finally. And obviously I've already had met Hitman, and it was cool to meet Insup, all the American boys that I never thought I was going to be able to meet.
Do you think that NA, and I mean like everybody from NA, went to DreamHack with a bit of a chip on their shoulder? Because, the region always gets a lot of flack from like European viewers, in particular, as like, not being very competitive. I'm sure like, and anybody knows that Hitman's legit and he can hang with the best. But imagine if he had gone there and he would have like just gotten destroyed in the groups. Yeah. Obviously, there would have been a lot of teasing and stuff. So do you think that because of that, maybe you and maybe Hitman, you were feeling that a big performance from at least Hitman was important there?
It was very important. Yeah, I think the memes kind of have to be over, at least when it comes to Hitman. People, the whole Quitman thing, sure. We talked about that a little bit too, whatever, the War 3 Champions thing didn't go over well, but you can't sleep on him anymore. He got top 4. I mean, fuck off. If you guys are gonna shit on Hitman because he loses some ladder game on stream and oh my god, he wins 0-3 against Hawk on ladder, it's like fuck off, who cares? When it mattered, he got top 4. Whether that not be top 4 in the world because there was no Chinese there's always going to be caveats. You cannot shit on Hitman any longer. He is a top competitor. He's one of the top orcs in the entire world. I bet you if he played Focus or Sona at that tournament, he would have fucked them up. So you can't talk shit about Hitman. I mean, Cruncher and Insup a little bit underwhelming, but I mean, there's other regions that only have one good player as well. So, CIS. So there's like,
Oh, wow.
That was solo. I didn't even catch that.
But you can't shit on Hitman anymore. You can't do it. NA lol, sure, but Hitman lol, nah, dude. If you don't like him personally, that's one thing, but you can't say he's a bad player. You can't say he's not a top competitor.
Okay, I got some clips from the after party here, so let's have a look together exactly at what happens. Oh, this is the wrong order, actually. I want to show them in the right order. It was the Carson impossible shot first, if I remember correctly. Why was that an impossible shot? Carson.
Impossible? Oh, it was very difficult. It was very difficult. I could have done it a little bit better, but because we were playing so for pool you have to sink that ball already because I'm behind the line because they scratched, so I have to get that. I have to bank it off the other side of the table, hit that ball and get it into the corner, but I do flub it a little bit. I blame the beer and Neo. Look at fucking Neo here, dude. So I gotta hit it and then I completely miss. See, but it was a very difficult shot. Everyone would have missed that shot.
You weren't even in the right direction, dude.
Everyone would have missed it. Look how close the game is as Neo talks shit. Look how close it is right now. There's 2 balls on that table, Neo.
Yeah.
Chris
but-
wearing the same outfit. Yeah, this is my comfy sweater. This is what I wore to travel as well the next day. It's my comfy sweater.
Okay, let's not make noise for a second so we get the sound from the clip because there is a nice line at the end of this one.
Alright, let me turn on the volume.
Peace.
That's some NAEU bias right there. You show me missing horribly. You show Neo just fucking sinking it in the corner pocket. Unbelievable.
Without any emotions as well because I'm just that good at pool.
Not fair. Not fair.
Okay, let's watch the InSup ping pong against Soin match. I think that video is like almost 2 minutes. That was also a really good one. It was very impromptu. I wasn't planning on filming at all, and then I saw these guys. Like, we were waiting for taxis, I think, to go to the party. I was like, oh, I might as well film a little, so let's watch.
With the hood, dude.
Bro.
Yeah, for some reason they had super small ones.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he sucks. Look at how he holds that thing. He fucking sucks.
See, now you're going to show a European
too much
next. They're going to be
power.
killing
We play
it.
hockey in Canada, motherfucker. We don't play ping pong. These guys play all day. That's what they do.
Excuses.
Look at
Bro.
Soen. Look at Soen how elegantly he does that.
Bro.
Have you?
I'm gonna smash your fucking phone with that fucking ping pong thing.
He has too much power.
Whoa, hey.
Oh, he got a point.
110.
One tap. And then he fucks up the next one so bad.
Oh shit, the mask is coming off.
I mean, that was after the tournament, but that was the vibe all the time, from day one till the very end.
He's getting owned like in the Open Cup.
See, he's revenge like kick his ass in the ESL Cup, so now he's doing that ping pong.
There's no
Insta breathing heavy after 3 rounds of ping pong.
And watching, I think right now it's Cruncher, me, Xlord, Krav, Neo, Todd. I think that's who was watching there while we were waiting for the cab. I think the Koreans were chilling a little further away as well.
Yeah, that was a funny moment because I kept, every time he lost a point, I was like, bro. And I know it's so irritating, you know, you're losing and then you got some mofo next to you being like, bro. And then he was like, he started smashing the ball into me and stuff. I know, you're right, that was the vibe the whole time, just people chilling and like having, you know, these kind of small games and hanging out. And he was in good spirits. Like, InSup started coming back a little bit after this. Obviously, they were both terrible.
Yeah, he did end up playing a lot better, like 5 minutes after that.
Yeah.
He didn't do him any favors with that video, Todd.
Yeah.
We have no video content of that.
There's no
But-
proof, no evidence.
I think Neo was talking mad trash because like so like in this clip at least, because when we see Neo on the, you know, on the stream, he's always so nice. But now, maybe he had a couple cheeky ones already in, and he was like, dude, he sucks. Like,
Yeah, I
straight
mean,
up.
come on.
And
It's
then-
a little different if I'm the commentator of a game and talk about the player. Of course, I show
Yeah,
him
yeah.
respect, or if I'm just friends hanging out, and then I'm definitely able to trash people.
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm
but I don't mean that
last
in a
it
bad
comes
way
out,
anyway. But I
at
think it's like really funny because like on the stream, I always know you are like super cheerful, and now you're like, dude, he sucks, and then you're like insta breathing heavy after this. So you just straight up trash talking him like. Krav, do you have any stories by any chance of like hanging out with people like where funny stuff happened, or like when you on the last
the
night we
photo-
were at the bar, like did anything funny happen or something?
I was stressing with the fly
Yeah.
canceling, so I can't. Suka. But yes, photo with Lucifer. Maybe it was cool to see him with the, how to say, the shirt of X Lord.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was fun.
Did you show him the shirt and he wanted to wear it, or?
No. It's yeah. I want to give the shirt to X Lord, and Lucifer was here when I do this action, and he was like, "Ah, no, let me, how to say, to put him on me and take a photo, bro." And he was like, in the mirror, Korea Musk, bro. Chiva.
So he just wanted to keep it after, or
No, I don't keep it. No.
wait, who
I don't
kept it?
keep it. But he come back to the home.
Oh, you kept it. You kept it. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's not forget to take it.
Yeah.
I actually just remembered a kind of a funny story. So I forget what match it was. Focus against Happy. And I did this on stream. I drew a little picture a few days ago. But where the players were and where the desk segments were, they were in the same room. So we had the desk, and then 10 feet away, with 3.3 meters away for you Europeans in chat, was the players, and they would be right next to the desk. So after the players would play their match, we would have to immediately jump to our desk segments. So when the match was close to being over, we'd have to go back into the room and prepare, have our paper, have our notes ready to go. And we'd pretty much be waiting next to the players, waiting for the match to end. And whether or not the players would notice this, that when they were about to lose, we would just walk in there, or when we were assuming that they were about to lose, we'd be walking in there. We don't know. But everyone else that was outside this room where we had the desk and the two players would notice when we were going back in, because they'd also be watching the game. So Focus is playing Happy, and he's down 0-1, Focus, and game 2 is not going great for him. He's about to lose. But he's not entirely behind. And so we're about to walk in, and Laliat stops me, and he's like, "Oh, you think Focus is about to lose? I'll tell him that you think he's about to get 2-0, and I'll make sure to tell him." And I'm like, no, don't tell Focus. Don't tell Focus. He's like, I got to tell him right after. And then the game ends up going on for like, maybe another like 10 minutes or something like that. I can't remember if we were in best of 5s or best of 3s at this stage when they played. But yeah, it ended up going for a while, but he like stops me, and he kept doing that consistently. I think he did that like 2 or 3 times. He was like, "Oh, you think he's about to lose? Like, I'll tell him." It's like, oh my god, like, okay, Chemiko's done for this one. I was like, no, we're trying to do a job here, man.
Yeah.
He just kept stopping me. I always wondered about that. Like, did the players realize when we sort of would hover when we thought they were going to lose? Because there's no real way around it.
Yeah, I think it's maybe not good that they can see. Like, I feel like if there was a room where they're completely isolated from any noise and anything outside of that booth or whatever, it'd be the best, personally, because then they really cannot get distracted. Whereas, like, now,
I mean, we have one player here. We can ask him right away, right? So.
Yeah. Trav, do you think there should be like for every tournament, it's better if there is like a soundproof booth where you cannot see anything from outside and you cannot hear anything as well? Or do you think it was okay to play on stage, even if sometimes there is some lights or like casters walking around or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's better to play on main stage. Yeah, because you are in the hype, of the tournament.
Yeah, but should
So-
you be in a soundproof booth? Do you know what is a soundproof booth?
No.
C'est genre une espèce de boîte où c'est fermé autour de toi et t'entends pas un bruit et tu vois rien autour. T'es juste concentré sur ton écran et tu vois rien autour.
Okay. For me, it's okay. But yes, I think it can help many players who is stressing about the medias, everything.
Yeah.
But no, for me it was okay. Yeah.
When
But
you played on the main stage, did you notice like casters walking around while you were still in game or something like that, or no?
No, nothing really. You are really focused
Yeah,
on the window and only refer, or you say les arbitres.
the referee.
Yeah, the referee. Yeah, sometimes I see them moving.
Oh, he
like, I
was
don't-
pacing next to you.
Yeah, like
What
whoa,
the?
you want me to lose or what? What you want?
But did you hear the casters before the match? Because I think some players could hear the casters while we're talking, and sometimes we're even making the prediction, saying like one of them is gonna lose or win, and they can hear it.
No, not for me. It
Okay.
don't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair though,
Lol,
like, you're gonna have a crowd sometimes too, though. So it's like if that's bothering the players, like wait till you're in some esports you're playing in front of 20,000 people, whatever. Sorry, go ahead, Neil.
Lol, I definitely heard our predictions because it was, what was it? His quarterfinal, I think, where the entire desk was against him and he wins and he comes up to our green room, like where we are hanging out, and Roddy wants to congratulate him. He's like, "Who the fuck are you? You're the guy who bet against me, right? I hate you." But in good spirits, as everybody was wrong. It's like, I wanted to prove you wrong so bad, and I did. That was a cool moment.
Okay, I got a little video here of you guys previewing what the telestrator is gonna be like with Remo from Back to Warcraft's Twitter. So let's have a quick watch of that, as that was a great moment from that weekend. Let's see.
Statues, as we know, so important. The positioning here by X-Lord, excellent. But he has to be aware of the griffins up here. If they fire back...
Yeah, been there a lot in StarCraft as well, so yeah, good luck avoiding these girthy ones on the screen. But I think that was a nice addition, the telestrator, to be honest. It gives for some cool I didn't really want to do it because I prefer to focus on interviews and stuff, and it feels like you're doing so much stuff. Even though like sometimes I've done segments that I think were good, I also feel it's very easy to mess it up. So I didn't particularly want to do it, and I didn't have to do it a single time, so I was kind of happy with that. But I feel like Carson, you kind of killed it with those, and Remo as well. So what did you like? Were you nervous at all about this?
Yeah, that was actually the first time I felt nervous during the whole thing, was the first and second. I think I only did 3 of them because there's a lot of one-sided series when I was supposed to do them. But yeah, that was the only time I felt nervous the whole event, was doing those initial Weatherman segments.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot. It's only you don't have somebody to fall back to. You got to do some new technology. The sort of downside of it, it was good content for sure. It was especially good content for the memes. The downside of it is you have to, this is how it sort of works. You obviously they're not going to get the clips for you. Well, they get them for you, but they're not going to find like what segment of the game. So when you're watching the games, preparing to do this Weatherman segment, knowing you have to do it after every game if it's a close, strong series, you have to be watching the game with a notepad, writing down times, and then you send the times to the production and say, okay, I want the clip from 10 minutes and 30 seconds to 11 minutes. Exactly. And you write down a little description, they get you that clip. So the entire time you're off the desk watching the games, you're not actually entirely watching the games. You're literally sitting there with a notepad thinking, okay, I could make this work. I can make this work. I can make this work. Whereas generally that would be your break. Or you'd be writing out some questions for the winner's interview.
Yeah.
Now you're sort of stressing out, running back and forth, trying to be like, okay, is the game going to end right now? Because I don't have a clip yet. So if the game's going to end right now, I need to do this clip at 8 minutes, whereas maybe the game goes on 20 minutes longer. So I want to do a clip at 25 minutes. So there's definitely a lot of like, pretty much when you're doing those drawing board segments, even if there's not that much content you get out of them, you have to constantly be like running back and forth, getting ready for it, stressing over it. So it was a lot of stress for the little amount of content it was.
Yeah.
But I think it was worth it. And I didn't do it perfectly or anything. I think Remo definitely one-upped me on the drawing skills. But it was fun. It was good, and it's one of those things that's like, if I didn't do it, I'd be like, oh, I just didn't do it because I was nervous about it or whatever. So I'm happy. I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I did it, and I'm happy that I also got to do at least one interview, because those are the things that normally, if given the choice, I would just not do them at all. Just let me do my commentary, take the camera off me, let me talk into a microphone. I'm good. But it's everything else that I try to force myself to do so that I'm at least attempting it
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I'm not comfortable.
The comfort zone. Yeah. Roddy actually, I feel like went a bit outside of his comfort zone, because Roddy, like, I mean, commentary for him is like effortless at this point. He's been doing it for so long. But hosting, even though he's dabbled into it a little bit, like there was this one occurrence that he was talking about where it had been really difficult for him. So, but I feel like he absolutely killed it. He was like so good.
Oh yeah.
Like always the right amount of like jokes to like being serious, and always passing it on to us like perfectly. Like you would think he's a professional host that does this year round, but actually usually he only does commentary. Like, and he had also almost like, I want to say, some big shoes to fill, because usually it will be Kyle Harris, who's like one of the best in like the entirety like of esports or like even the world, and yet he did a great job. So that made me happy to see him be able to do so well here with this, with something that is a little, I guess, a little bit newer at, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roddy fit right in. I mean, we knew each other from Xi'an 2 years ago, so it wasn't the first time we were working together, but it was cool to see that he was, I don't want to say nervous, because I guess he's too professional for that, but it was like, oh damn, I'm so worried that I say StarCraft instead of Warcraft, because it's so burned in my head that it's a StarCraft tournament, because I'm doing StarCraft for 10 years. Like, Roddy, you're gonna be fine. And before every segment, he was just asking real quick, like, what do you want to talk about? And he immediately picked up the ball and threw it to us. It was very, very pleasant working with Roddy.
Yeah, I think major. I've only worked with two actual hosts, which would be Claris and Roddy. But from my experience, I guess what they're sort of supposed to do in a way is just make everyone feel very comfortable, make the viewers feel very comfortable. Like, hey, we're real people. Here's me. Even if it's a little tongue in cheek with the intros and stuff and the jokes that they crack, it's about making everyone at home feel comfortable and making everyone that's beside them comfortable. When people are trying to write notes and do analysis of the games and figure out exactly what the hell they're going to talk about, what are the talking points, what are the stats, they're there to make it feel casual and just like a conversation. And Roddy did that very, very well. He's, like I said, how he is on camera is how he is in person. He's a very social guy, very good at conversations, very good at making everyone feel welcome. So he's perfect for that. He's got the perfect personality for hosting.
In terms of like experiencing these kind of tournaments, and then seeing it as the conclusion of like the circuit after 2 years, it feels like we're probably never gonna have a tournament like that ever again. Do you guys look at it that way, or do you think like, maybe there is hope, maybe there is some sort of WGL where maybe we can have like tournaments offline, but with COVID complicating things, it's almost like a sad thing where like you look at it and you're like, yeah, this might be the end of like big events like this for Warcraft 3. Are you guys still hopeful that maybe someday there could be something like that again?
It's very expensive to run offline events. I guess that's something that people don't realize. This was also the discussion when Dreamhack announced it was ending. Like, hey, let the community chip together for the prize money. Yeah, usually prize money is not the smallest, but definitely by far not the biggest expense when you run a tournament. So getting all the people for the production there, having all the camera there, having all the equipment there, flying all the people in, taking care of that before, that requires a huge amount of people, and it's just very expensive. So I think production quality wise, this is probably the best we ever get. But I think we can definitely get people together in one location and do smaller scale production, like for example they do currently at Experion. We can enhance that. We can get people from France in, we can get people from Sweden in, Czechia was there already, we can get Terra in from Poland. I don't see a reason not to. And maybe if a Korean or someone from North America wants to travel Europe anyway, then that's the perfect introduction for that as well. I don't want to bury the dream of having another international offline tournament yet.
Carson?
Yeah, I think it'll be tough to get like all the top players in. Like I think something like Experian is obviously a really good example of people if they just want to travel for fun and they're not trying to earn a profit, are willing to do it. I think we could probably end up with something in maybe, like Anaheim again or something, somewhere maybe central United States. We could do something like that for the Canadians and Americans, and maybe someone from Europe would travel over. But I don't think we're ever going to get something like, a Happy versus a Lin, or like getting an Infi offline or getting a Moon offline. These guys do truly want to they want to profit when they show up and play, and they want to have everything taken care of. They're not going to just fly out for like a holiday and be I'm going to play a tournament. That's not what Moon is going to do in my experience. I don't think that's going to happen. So it would take something big. It's probably going to have to be in China or Korea when everything is opened up again, and then it's going to have to be the Europeans biting the bullet and saying, okay, I'll travel over here. I might not make a bunch of money, but I'm gonna go over there and try and do it. It's going to be very, very tough for there to be like a tournament in Europe with every single region again. Like somebody I was talking in a Twitch chat last night. I think it was Hitman's or something. Someone was like, maybe if I put like 40K forward, do you think that could get a tournament with like the top 8 players in the world? I'm like, let's see. You got to pay for flights, got to pay for hotels. They want 3 meals a day. You need to get a talent manager for the 3 meals a day. You need to book a venue. You need to book production. Like you need to get PCs for them, and then you need to have a prize pool. 40K. Is that possible? Maybe if you want like me competing, and then I'll fly myself out or something. But it's to get in the top 8. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, before you even talk about the prize pool, it's a lot of money, and there's not enough money to profit from that. So it's always going to be like, in this case, I believe this was like Blizzard paying ESL to do it. That's how we got to this position, right? So this is pretty much like a reforged 2-year advertisement. For some reason, Blizzard wanted that at the beginning, even though they didn't do the game right. But it's going to be extremely difficult for there to be something exactly like this. I mean, maybe you could cut the production out entirely and just have the tournament. But then again, it's like, is there any profit there without production, without a stream? Maybe if the stream is just like, old school, webcam and one microphone at a desk casting the games, sure. But I don't know.
Krav?
Yeah, what can I say more? You say everything. Yes, the problem is money, the sponsors. So, yeah, that is the future.
Would you, Krav, would you be a player that if there was opportunity, pay for your own travel to go to a tournament and play if there was no guarantee of profit? And do you think there would be other players, at least in Europe, that would be willing to do that?
Yeah, I think if we love the game, yeah, and if we have the time, for sure. But yes, with pleasure. Like in Germany, Experian. I hope I'm gonna do this lane because I have to be here, So, and yeah, it's not so much expensive. French Germany. It's not like Sweden or I mean China. I have to pay everything for sure. So yeah.
I personally think that something that could happen that would be really good is if Ante did an event at the Experian, and then the week after we would do another event in Krefeld that takes place. So like a Iron Couch 2. Because then there is more justification for players to come from afar. Because there is more prize, there is 2 tournaments, so it reduces the chances. If you underperform in one, maybe you're going to do better in the other one. And I think that could be something really epic and nice that could happen. But I think the one that Ante is planning currently is like in March or something. So that's too short notice, probably. I think if you want to do something like that, there is even a lot of community members from America that have voiced interest in coming to something like that, even as spectators. So I think that would be really cool. I mean, for me, like my dream is that we get more of these. And I don't mean like grand production, like Dreamhack with, 130K on the line, but, a good amount of thousands. And we get, especially, like for me, the price is irrelevant because, I'm not going to compete anyway, probably. I'd be more interested in hanging out and casting some games and chilling. But yeah, if there was as many people from the community as possible, I think that'd be really cool. But obviously, it's not easy. Like, right, you need to find like sponsors and stuff, ideally, which on Warcraft 3 is very hard. And also there is that Omicron variant that showed up. That's probably going to make travel even more difficult. So it feels like we kind of have to get lucky where like things maybe become easier travel-wise. and then maybe it could happen eventually, but I feel like probably not before the end of next year or something like it, or even midway.
I think the knowledge we got from the past 2 years of producing online tournaments, we could, of course, not do the production as the Dreamhack did, but the Warcraft scene doesn't need that. People don't have the requirements from like a major CS:GO tournaments where you have like a stream for every single player and it's all 4K, blah blah blah. We don't need that. Like we had a camera crane in the Dreamhack studio. Do you think a Warcraft fan would notice if you don't have a camera crane in the studio? Absolutely not. We can take our smartphones and do it via OBS Ninja, and then you have some movement, for example. That costs probably $5,000 less. And then, do you really need a player manager? I don't know. If you have Chinese and maybe some Koreans, sure, but we're all bros. We can take care of each other, right? Do you really need a talent manager? We're all grown-ups. We know that where the bottles of water are. We don't need to tell someone to get us food. We can order us our own food or make our own food or whatever. We can save thousands on just stuff like that. So yeah, it's of course not super realistic, but it's not super unrealistic either.
Yeah, I think there is a great venue and just a place to have tournaments in both the Experian and Tech TVs in Krefeld, personally. So it's like you could very easily make events happen there that are organized by the community, and like Ante seems to want to make some happen. Even the Experian craft that he organizes, where it's like more community based and with like mostly German players, with a few like I think like Side was there, Armin. So there's like a couple neighboring countries players. Those events are really dope, I think, personally. Like, yes, of course, if you're watching Moon 120 happy every day, it's not going to be the same level, but it's also nice to see them on camera at an offline event, playing one another, giving interviews after wins, having the casters on location. I think that made those events like super cool. Unfortunately, the last one was scheduled same time as Dreamhack, I think, so a lot of people missed it. But the one before that was also really fun, and I think these tournaments have potential to kind of become like one of the big things that we look forward to. But obviously, with the current difficulties around travel, if there was no difficulties with like a pandemic or like travel, I think we'd have already like so much more events already kind of being organized. And if we look at what already happened after Dreamhack, like we went home, like you took a few days break, and the people were like, "Oh my god, Warcraft is really dead. Like, Back to Warcraft not live." I can imagine the cringe, like of you reading this, like you're just like face palming in real life. But then now
the day after I got back too. I got back on the Tuesday. I streamed on the fucking Wednesday, bro. On Back to Warcraft. Like, are you kidding me?
I streamed on Thursday as well. But it's I think it's important to just let the people know. Otherwise, everybody's asking and don't get an answer. Just put a tweet out there. And it was nice to have a day off. And the rest of the year will be rather chill compared to what we had earlier. But we just need to inform people. We just need to use our socials. What's up? When is stuff up? When do we take breaks so they don't feel lost?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, look at what happened already since you started streaming again. You did like a Warcraft 3 Info League, and then there's stuff all the time. Yesterday there was a cool number 2 cup, and then I got asked about casting next weekend, but next weekend I'm not in town, so then I was like, I can't, and they were like, oh, then we're doing it tomorrow. So I was like, what? Like, I had dinner plans with D-Man and Jason Kaplan tonight, and I had to cancel them because I was like, I'm gonna cast the tournament.
Letting the big boys.
Yeah, it feels bad. I'm the one that organized it with them, and then I was like, oh guys, sorry, I got asked to cast the tournament. So I casted tournaments since 3 p.m. today until 10 p.m. like the Christmas bash, and like all of these guys, they are like these guys wanting to organize their own tournament. It's same for the cool number 2 cup. That was like, I think, I don't know exactly. That might have been the 4th or 6th one or something. And before, like, Blade has won one that was in final against Starbuck. There's been quite a few of them. That guy made an interview on the website, and I think he plans on doing more tournaments. And then same thing with the Christmas Cup or the Christmas Bash that just happened. Like, there was, what was it, like $800 or $900 on the line in this one, which is crazy. Like, if a player went 6-0, he would win 250 more on top on the 350 that he won initially. Johnny Cage got 6-0. He beat everybody. He beat Foggy, Hawk, Blades. Like, he crushed everyone. Well, that was all 2 ones, but I think that's so cool. Like, there's already so many events happening. Dreamhack was last weekend, and now I had the weekend, the fullest of events that I've had in a while. And Ante's working on tournaments. We got the 4 Players Cup. Back to Warcraft could make literally anything you guys wanted happen. If you want to do another weekly, you could very easily do that. If you want to do tournaments, if you want to create your own circuit, you could do that. If you wanted to make your own team league, you could do that. We got nation wars happening. So like anybody that talks about like Warcraft being dead, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like maybe some players are gonna move to Age of Empire. That was like inevitable. When there are new games, people will want to move to them. But there's still like gonna be games. There's still gonna be people playing. There's still gonna be people casting. And to me, like that's pretty much it. But I would add to that, what do you guys think is going to be important for the scene to thrive other than just purely tournaments? Do you think diversity in those tournaments is going to be important? Do you think making the prize pool spread out is going to be important so you also support grassroots and not just the people at the top?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, so many people are asking for another weekly cup, and I don't really get that because we have 3 weekly cups for every single skill range, and I really don't know why people don't see 4 players cup as a good equivalent or good alternative to ESL cup. I absolutely don't get this.
Because Happy
So-
doesn't play, I think. I think that's the main reason.
We want Happy winning
and
every week.
Foggy.
Until
Yeah,
that
nice.
happens, we're not going to be happy. No, I was just kidding.
Very exciting. Okay. So we will not do a weekly cup as long as there's 4 player cups because there's absolutely no necessity. We won't do a team league because there's W3IL. Sparta is doing something I read on his Discord. Plus, there is this $240,000 team league coming from China. I think in general, we don't have to worry about the Chinese and Korean players because they will be fed by TED. They will be fed by TH Infi and Fly with their team. They will still be battling against each other. And there's Doyu and there's Huya and there's hopefully NetEase still doing something. So we really have to care about Europe and the Americas. So in my head, for now, nothing is set in stone. It's just some wild ideas. I think something like Meisterschaft, but bigger, is the right thing to do. Spread out content like a circuit with a certain stability for players, that this is happening over a certain amount of time with decent prize pool, which will be the hardest thing to organize, but something that is also not the biggest investment like the 200,000 that we had from Dreamhack. It must be on a smaller scale, but something next to World 3 Champions finals with ideally more content per streamed time than Dreamhack was.
So yeah, so like a Dreamhack but a league instead of like a one tournament.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe even with the second division, that there's relegation and wildcard qualifiers. And I do have some ideas. But yeah, this needs some time. I think I need some time off between prior to Christmas plus Christmas, and then I start this journey.
And like with everything that's been made in the past, like when you look at the success of the W3's Champions tournament, I feel like you can kind of stay optimistic that the community will want to tune in for these kind of events and want to support as well. There is also some potential for sponsors, even though it feels like you need like really like sponsors. Like if I was a sponsor, I don't think I mean, if I didn't know anything about World 3 and I was a sponsor, I probably wouldn't want to sponsor World 3 because like our numbers are still minuscule compared to like any other big esport out there. So they probably just end up throwing money at whatever's the biggest sport. But if you look at you guys, you still got Corsair. There is always a chance in there. Like Playing Ducks is making something happen with Iyama soon. They're having a bunch of tournaments, right? So they found a sponsor for that. So it seems like there's still a little bit of potential here and there for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't get the numbers like a CSGO, but we don't cost the same as CSGO. You don't have to dump $5 million into a 30-second ad segment.
Only 2 millions.
You need 2 millions, exactly. So you can get some new polo shirts as well for casting these events. Yeah, I think sponsors could get a good bang for their buck if viewer numbers stay the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, I know we already have sort of weekly cups, but you just think about it like from the side of the sponsors. Like literally, there could be a weekly cup named after a company where we stream it every single week, 2,000 viewers, whatever, as long as it has Happy, maybe it's 3,000. literally $5,200, $100 a week. That's what ESL Cup was. Obviously, there's 3 regions, so it ended up being 15.6. But like literally, you get 1 cup a week, 3,000 viewers, your name's on the tournament, all these players signing up, all these players watching. That's a no-brainer. $5,200, and it's easy. I don't know. I assume ESL also paid admins and all that, but we don't require admins to be paid. I'm sure we can find volunteers. I mean, there's a lot to be gained from sponsoring shit, as long as it's being streamed, right? As long as it's this channel, Back to Warcraft, or maybe some of the other different language casters are streaming it as well. There's a lot to be gained. Whether that be true for bigger tournaments with less broadcast days, I don't know, because then you're going to be sinking in that 5,200 instead into 52 streams. You might be sinking it into something like 16. So then it starts to, the bigger, the more grandiose the tournament becomes, the less viable, almost weirdly, it seems to be for sponsors. But then there's always like, it's easy to community fund these things. Surprisingly, the communities, they haven't run out of money yet somehow after all these w3 champions. I don't know how, but we can, if we do want bigger tournaments, we can always fund it. But it's sort of still got to be online. There's always opportunity. It's just a matter of like, what do the people want? Like, what sort of content do they want? Do they want more casual streams? Do they want bigger tournaments? Do people really want 2v2, 4v4, 3v3 FFA tournaments? Do they want to see those things? Or do they just want to see Happy beat everyone's asses? Because if that's what they want, then we will provide. Easy peasy. We'll do a weekly cup. You guys can watch Happy destroy everyone. It's just a matter of knowing what the people actually want, because it's always tough to get a read of what they want. Do they want things like weird content, like things like Theorycraft or podcasts or game shows or speed running Warcraft? They want weird shit like that? Probably not. They probably just want to see top players play 1v1, is honestly what it seems like, statistically at least.
Do you think that if there is like a weekly, I mean, I know that's probably not going to be like Leo said, but I personally think that paying second place will also be important. And also, I heard that 4-Players Cup lifted the yellow cap. Did they bring it back, or? So Happy's just not playing out of spite, or like, what is it?
They haven't got the memo, I don't think, because it's been very confused, honestly. Because I didn't even know that. I heard that it was not. There was a cap, and then there wasn't a cap, and then there was a cap the next week, back and forth and back and forth. I think there just needs to be a proper announcement whether or not there is one. So there isn't a cap. Happy can play.
That's what I heard before. I don't know if they brought it back or something, but I think there might not be a cap, and he's still not playing. I don't know.
I don't know. And the cool thing is about 4-players, this is also not clear as well. I think 4-players needs to be a little bit more forward about this, because the more players that sign up, the higher prize pool there is.
Yeah.
But I don't actually, the numbers on their website when you sign up is wrong as well. I think they just need to tweet this shit. Just tell us who can play, what are the ELO caps exactly, how much money do we get per. People care about the money. I mean, I know everyone's, passion, but if Happy's signing up for a tournament, we all know he wants that fucking money, dude. Same with Foggy. He wants to make some money, dude. $100, that's a decent chunk of change for them. So we need to know, what are the numbers? If we get 100 plus people, I think it's like 300 euros if it's 100 people in the bracket, which I'm sure people would sign up and lose round 1 just to give their favorite player a shot at getting a decent chunk of change there. That's a lot of money. So I think they need to be more forward, and maybe once they are more forward and the details are more hammered out, and we can create these nice storylines of, if there's 100 people, maybe Foggy can make his biggest weekly cup earnings ever, or something like that. I think we need more details, because I fucking cast the thing twice a week sometimes, and I don't even know the details, man.
Yeah, I think every detail like that is important. Like, we didn't even talk about Jim, but I think Jim is like such an important piece of the Warcraft scene, because they have so many people on that Discord. It's very active. There is always chatting. There is always calls, sharing screen, coaching, and all that stuff. It's definitely important that I mean, these guys just keep on doing their thing, which I'm sure they will. Leo, anything about this? I guess you agree, right?
I'm a little frustrated with this topic, because whenever you ask what people want, you kind of try to provide that, and then they either don't sign up or they don't watch. Like,
we want clan wars.
Yeah, exactly. We need team leagues. Boom, we got a team league. Not too many people watch it. I do love the activity in W3IL, by the way. That's freaking amazing. Then
So you think not
we
enough
do-
people are watching W3IL, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, no. Like 1500 is okay, but it's not great. Then people wanted a deep dive format, and I love Theorycraft. Great content, but the clicks are not that
Yeah.
great. Same for our podcast thingy. Like whatever extra content you provide, it doesn't get clicked too much. Also, sign up numbers for the cups not really encouraging. I don't know. It's a little frustrating to talk about that
Yeah.
and to think about that.
Okay, I'm gonna give my own feedback on it, so it can give you a certain perspective on it, perhaps. I think Theorycraft is personally too long. Unless you're
Mhm.
ultra freaking hardcore, I find it very hard to watch like 2 hours of Warcraft where we're just like talking about strategies and analyzing, like even if it's just 3 replays. So what I would recommend is speeding it up and bringing it down to like, I don't know, 1 hour or something.
Yeah.
Bring it down to 1 hour. Probably not 30 minutes. 30 minutes will be too short, but 1 hour. If you do 1 hour, you're like, okay, we're gonna go over this many replays. It might feel rushed, then maybe just try it, and then maybe you extend to 1 hour and a half. It's the same for my interviews. It's the same for my tunnels. When I posted a 4 hours long tunnel, I thought it was the dopest episode ever. Like we were like going into super deep shit. I thought it was amazing. There's still these people telling me 4 hours is way too long. There is no way I can watch all that, even though it's the sickest content. That's just the way it is. Not everybody can commit to like that much time. And I think it's maybe a little bit the same with Theorycraft. And for the team league, we haven't had a proper team league in so long. If you look at the new Warcraft 3 Info League, it's insane the names that are in there on teams. But most people don't even know. Like if you had asked me like 2 weeks ago, like who's on Global Clan, I would have said like Godfather, and that's it. Like I don't even know like, you know, who else. That's it. Like really, I don't even know like a single player.
That's enough, Todd. That's enough.
So like, you know, like the audience, they don't associate who's on the like who was it? It's like Loliet, Sock, right? Or like Johnny Cage. Was that the team or was that another
Yeah,
one?
Johnny Cage, Dice, Terror.
Wait, so which team is Loliet on? And Sock.
Global Clan.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, they have an insane lineup, but you see, I feel like a lot of Warcraft 3 viewers, I mean, they're split, right? There's the hardcore guys that will know about this, but there's still a lot of people that don't necessarily know. So if they tune in and they see like Global Clan against like KEOA, like whatever that team name was, they're probably gonna, okay, I don't know these teams, I don't know any of the players, I'm out or something.
That's
or like
why
I'm
putting countries next to things like that is good.
Yeah, but just you need to give it some time for people to realize who's playing on which team, and that's also maybe your part or the community's part to really advertise these matches and make everybody understand who are on these teams. And even then, it's gonna take a while for the community to really start associating these players with these teams on those matches. Because when you had WC3L, you knew every single lineup of every team. You knew that you were gonna associate SK with like a Lin, Remind, Soju, and all these guys, and you knew that they were gonna be playing every Clan War, so you could kind of anticipate who was gonna play every match. Whereas like now, even most team names, like not that long ago, they were not even known. Like if I ask most people to name me the entire lineup of playing Ducks, that might be one of the easier ones, but it's still gonna be hard for most people. So if you look at the amount of teams that got built specifically to be competitive right now in the W3IL, it's a lot of them. And it's very, very hard. Like even seeing Johnny Cage on another team than Thunderdogs, I was like super weirded out. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah,
Indeed.
so like I think you need to give it time. And like for me, I don't super look forward to W3IL usually, but I feel like this season, because of like all the players that are in there, you just know like, you know, Hitman could be playing every match for 0 effort or something. Like there is some sick big names. It's actually insane.
There was some sick games. And you know what? I totally agree. And this is why I think that Nations League will be great. People will love Nations League. People will tune into to Nations League like crazy because they can identify the players on the team. If no big names are skipping or not playing, like Happy will probably not attend, I guess. But they know Foggy's playing for Ukraine, Kraft is playing for France, and they will tune in because then they got the players they know and the Clan War format they love, and they can cheer for their country. Boom, winning format. Nations League, I'm so freaking excited for Nations League. And Carson, if you don't get a Team Canada, signed up for this, I'm gonna fire you.
I can do it. I'm actually playing again. I'm actually playing again, so I can do that. Yeah, I think the issue with team leagues as opposed to nations leagues is Nations Wars is just mercs. Every team is just fucking mercs. There's no story to be built. There's no camaraderie between the players. There's no identity because it's just, oh, I'm just gonna pay Foggy $5 per win, and he's gonna all kill every clan war. That's what every team has turned into. Like when we made Dust, the point of Dust, yes, we had a lot of strong players, but we were sticking to a region. We were friends. We were playing together. We all knew each other from
$5
back
a
in the
win.
day.
Sorry.
Legitimate. That's probably the deal, honestly. And like, why wouldn't you, man? I'm gonna be playing ladder anyway. Like, fucking hell. Like all these teams are just merc after merc after merc after merc. It's like, yeah, you won, great. It's gonna be a different team next season depending on who the highest bidder is. It's like there's no way to solve that other than locking it to regions, which I think is a great way to make it a lot hyper.
Casson, what
I
are you
feel
doing with
it's
your
a-
life that you got all this time to watch me? And not $5. Sorry.
I think it's a little unfair for teams like Playing Ducks, who are, I don't think they're mercenaries. They got good players, but it's still a great team. You see the camaraderie between Starbuck and Krav. You see the
Mhm.
camaraderie between the other
Oh yeah,
players.
I think they're fine. There are no issues. Let me look up some of the teams though.
Zero Effort, I think, is also very cool. For you, Matt, I really don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's I think a pretty good example. They've always sort of just been merc
but
heavy because
they're not really mercs. It's just, I think that's a group of people who play Clan Wars together, but it feels like they have no other interaction. But it's not like they are signing a lot of players up and the roster is rotating too much. I think the only addition was Ark and Hailua recently, and they of course lost Vortex to 8 Vampires or something, but that's about it for you, Matt, right? And Todd is, of course, not playing for them after the grandiose WGTL season.
Yeah, because you harassed us too much about our shitty score, so I decided to stop. But yeah, like, no, there's some nice teams, but yeah, for sure there's some teams that were just assembled. We don't really know. Like a global clan, I didn't even realize they had these players, actually, like only recently did. Face Johnny Cage, Lolite, Dies, Sock, please. That's
a
terrifying
perfect
lineup.
example. Like what the hell are they? That's perfect. It's like Lalai, Lalai and Sock are like, yeah, they're really a big part of your team there. Like, come on, come on.
I met the guy who is sponsoring them at BlizzCon not too long ago, and he's a super nice dude. So his goal was always to support certain players to play Warcraft, and there was the Global Cup for a while, and since then he's, I guess, sponsoring a couple of players personally, which is a cool initiative. And if people are playing for him for that, it's good for them.
Yeah, it's great for the players. Absolutely. The fact that players can make some money to play the game, absolutely support that. But if we're talking about how we can get the best content, I don't know if this is the best content necessarily. But for the players, absolutely. I think they should have the opportunity to be able to make some money for playing some leagues, because that's what it's always sort of been like.
Yeah. It's been weird, some of these lineups shifting around. Like Thunder Ducks used to be so strong. They had like Blades and Johnny Cage. Now they got neither. So they have like one of the more modest lineups, I guess, in the league. And it's been showing in their results. Raptor shuffled a couple players around, but now they got Luke Hell, Thunder. Still got Remo.
And there's like an all Chinese team, SIL Silence, like that's cool. Like it's a bunch of like fairly unknown players, probably led by like Cini on there. So like that's a cool lineup, you know. Like if you are a Chinese fan, you can probably get behind. You probably know these names. Like I don't know who Elephant is, but I mean you probably know them if you're on like the whole NetEase side of the scene. So like that's cool.
Krav, how about Team Spirit in playing Ducks and playing for a team like this? Because you just joined them, but I guess you guys have already played some Clan Wars and stuff.
It's a really nice team because when I check Discord, I always see a message every day. So it's really, how to say, it's a big motivation for me to take a look at this, to have the motivation of play. And yeah, it's a team of a friend, and yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah, and cool lineup. Like okay, I am with Starbuck, but you can see these days Tom, do good, Scars. No, not Scars. Scars is in. Show me. I don't remember. Edo.
Let me see.
But yeah, a
Need to
lot of
reopen it.
new players are doing well these days. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, Scars, Starbuck,
Scars,
Edo, Krav,
yeah.
Hippo,
Hippo,
Drunken.
Drunken, yeah. Sadly, I hear Drunken don't want to play Warcraft 3 anymore. But yeah, probably because human.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, like I look at teams like Raptor right now, and it's like they started off as like a mostly German team. They had like Remo Demo on it. They had a bunch of guys, but then you look at it
Oh, they got
now, and it's
Shimiko as
like,
well.
yeah, it's like Chebiko and Thunder. It's like, I wonder who's playing all the clan wars of these 50 people on the lineup. Well, obviously they just hire these guys, and then like come on, sort it out. Like I wanna see a team where I can identify what the strengths, what the weaknesses of the team are, who's gonna be playing every week. I don't want to look at a
Look.
roster of 50 people with 2 mercs on it that's just gonna win every clan war for you. I don't care about
All right,
that.
Mr. 4 Hours Theory Craft, sure. Like,
When you check the team list, the player list, we missed Steel. Steel was very good. Passion was very good too. We miss them.
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Yeah, but I think the focus should be on one-on-one, and it's good that we have the 4-player leagues, and then, of course, w3's Champions will continue, and we will switch it up a little bit, but not too much. It's the top 15 this time, plus a wild card, instead of plus 16, or just 16 players. And maybe a little more content. I would really love to have 2-2, 4-4 show matches, but I don't know. For me, it makes no real sense to make 2-2 and 4-4 tournaments just because of viewership. And then one big league. And I think then we're fine for 2022.
And scheduling's a nightmare, right, Todd?
Yeah.
Because I think 4 versus 4, for me, for my experience, I really prefer 3 versus 3. And as observer, I think it's more better than 4 versus 4 because you can see the micro of the players, the macro. You can really see everything. Because in 4 versus 4, it's like, okay, we have the plan, and yes, it's a big fight, mass. Yeah, really, 3 versus 3, I think it can be okay for have more team players and maybe more fun. And in 1 versus 1, it's like, okay, we don't sign up because there is happy, there is so we don't want to lose time, to waste our time. So and like in 2 versus 2 is the same. When you have big team, you don't want to face them and waste time again. But in 3 versus 3, I think, and I will maybe probably host tournament soon. I think just for try, put some money, and yes, just enjoy. I think 3 versus 3 is very good for me. I just want to try. I think it can be a good alternative to 4 versus 4 and 2 versus 2.
Yeah, I heard that from a couple of other players as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3's is way funner than 4's, in my opinion. Way funner. I think the maps are better as well.
Oh, it's muted, of course. I think it would be good to talk about a certain player's performance at Dreamhack. It's Happy, and his reaction as well after the event. He made a post. So going into the tournaments, I actually thought that there was a lot of players that could give him a run for his money. And of course, we're missing a few players that maybe could have been those players, like Lane, maybe Colorful. I think Lane and 120 probably are at the very top of that list. But there were still some very heavy hitters at this tournament. And then he just went and aced the whole thing. Were you guys surprised at all? Did you expect that was going to be like what would happen most of the time when we played this tournament? Or, yeah, what were your impressions on his performance?
It started off with Sock, right? And that was the one map on Northern Isles where he really looked challenged, I think. All the other maps weren't really close. And that's even more scary. Like at one part of the broadcast, I think it was the grand final, we said it's utter dominance. Well, but he lost one fiend, so we were joking about that. Yeah, it felt like every other player was terrified We saw that in Moon, who made crippling mistakes. We saw it in Focus, who in the first two maps really didn't play up to his best, and then at game 3 it was too late. Lola, I feel, didn't make too many mistakes. Sock was really close, but yeah, nobody was on his level, like not at all.
Carson?
Yeah, agree with that. Honestly, I've been one of the people that's been a little bit resistant because probably I'm NA, a little resistant to Happy's dominance and sort of accepting that he maybe is the best player in the world. I was a little against it. I was like, yeah, but if he meets so and so, if he meets an Infi, if he meets a Lin, it probably won't be. These Asian players are going to show that Happy isn't truly the greatest of all time, just because that's NA against EU. That's what we do. But this tournament definitely proved that, regardless of how good he actually is, he definitely is the best when it comes to competing. He doesn't make mistakes like everyone else does. He doesn't get nervous. Apparently, he doesn't fumble at all. He shows up and he played. There was many games I watched of his that were perfect games that he played. Maybe not every single one. There was slight mistakes at times. Let some people get some last hits, missed a coil, whatever. Small things. Loses a fiend in the early game. But really, the majority of his games were perfect games. This last game we're watching right now was absurd. He's the only player in the world, the only player of all time that would have won this game.
Yeah.
I feel like against a player like Laliat, a 1-2-0 wouldn't have won this. No Undead ever would have won this. So yeah, he showed he's the best player in the world right now. He definitely is. I mean, if Moon would have showed up, maybe be saying, yeah, maybe, but if they were to play Moon again, maybe he'd have a chance. But Moon didn't look good at all. Laliat got destroyed. Focus got destroyed. I still would like to see Lin. I still would like to see maybe. I don't think 1-2-0 would have much of a shot, but like an Infi if he was active, but he's not active. So really, only Lin, I think, is the only caveat to Happy being the greatest in the world. But he would probably beat Lin at this point. I mean, he owned everyone. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to look really hard to find any mistakes in these games, usually.
Yeah.
Krav, what did you think of Happy's performance?
Yeah, but I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, definitely we miss 1-2-0 Lin for maybe take Happy down, but yeah, I'm not surprised about his performance. He deserves it. I mean, everyone deserves to win, but yes, not surprising really. He deserves it. When he come back to the hotel against the Laureate in the big final, I was smoking and I see him and I was like, and he see me and he was really happy. I see where is the human and not the player. So yeah, definitely, he deserves it.
Are you surprised that he didn't lose a single map though? I mean, he was the big favorite going into this, but not losing a single map versus Sock, Soin, Focus, Moon, and Lawlight. That's just crazy.
The Emperor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can name all the players, we can name all the Lins and 1-2-0s, but he probably would have 3-0'd them as well. We had the same talks before. What if he faces Focus on even condition? What if he faces Moon on even condition? It's just 2-0, 3-0. Because he's so ready. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have been a big difference.
Yeah, I think everyone played a little underwhelming, unfortunately. But again, like, that doesn't matter because it's an offline tournament. Like, and that's part of competing, is having good nerves and playing your best when the day comes and when the pressure's on. That's part of competing. So regardless of people's individual performance, again, and whether or not Focus played badly, whether or not Moon played badly, it doesn't matter because that's all part of it. You got to show up and play when it matters.
Yeah, and I think what he said in the post-game interview with Todd was, I work harder than everyone else. And I feel that's true. I guess a lot of people prepared a lot prior to this tournament, and I know that a lot of players were grinding hours, but at the event, I haven't seen Happy once prior to the tournament outside of his room. I guess he was just grinding games from the moment he arrived in Sweden until his Battle.net account got banned, until he got another Battle.net account, and then up to the grand final. He was not socializing. He was there to win, and damn, did he win.
Yeah. Do you think that going 3-0, it takes away from what the games could have been if you had a bunch of 3-2s and like really epic games? Or do you think it's also like a great story of like domination and just him doing really well and it being a show in itself, right? Because if you think of boxing, for example, in the old days with Mike Tyson just crushing everyone, that was one of the more popular times of boxing where everybody wanted to see that in action because they were just so curious if he was going to destroy the next guy or if somebody was finally going to be able to stand up to this guy. So I'm not going to go as far as saying like there's a lot of similarities, you know, because it's video games and stuff. But maybe there are. I don't know.
Yeah, thankfully, all his opponents still got their ears. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that story was cool for a while, and then we had the big Foggy win, and we had a Hawk win in between, and a Lawlight win in between. But to me personally, the story is getting really old, and I love to see the finals like we had on Friday in the 4 Players Cup between Hawk and Sonic, which were just absolutely crazy and back and forth, and everything could have happened at the same time. Then 20 more weeks of just happy dominance, and maybe once every 2 months we get a glimmer of hope. I don't know. That story got old, so.
Vote ban happy.
I asked this though. Was it like, because you guys have all been around for these times, I haven't necessarily, and maybe a lot of people in the chat haven't either, but when Moon was dominating in like 2007, when Remind started dominating as well, maybe when Grubby was dominating in Europe, was there a similar feel? I think especially around Moon, maybe when Sky was dominating in China, like was there a similar thing of like, when is this is getting boring, this guy's just owning everyone? Or is it different with Happy compared to these guys?
Yeah, Sky wasn't winning everything for years. Like he was
Okay.
doing really well in the big tournaments and winning quite a few of them. But from tournament to tournament, usually it changed who was the champ because you had many championship caliber players, and they would just kind of rotate these wins. But I feel like every time somebody's very dominant, I mean, I don't even watch football, but I would love to get PSG just getting their shit pushed in the French Championship. Unfortunately, it's just not happening. But yeah, no, like or like Formula One. I watch a bit of Formula One. And like Lewis Hamilton is winning every season. Like, yes, it's a great story and he's dominating, he's doing really well. But the best season in a while, from what I gather, is the current one because it's so close between him and Max Verstappen. So, yeah, I think it'd be better if people gave him a run for his money. But at the same time, it's still kind of cool to see this guy do so well against such tough competition for sure. But yeah, I agree with Neo that it gets old eventually, right?
Yeah, and you kind of start to lose hope as well. Like if it's one thing if the wins are always close, but if it's like how many times from these ESL Cup finals it was just a 3-0. Maybe 70 times out of 85 or something, and then we had 15 good grand finals in 2 years. Whew, that's a little too much. That's a little bit like the dominance is too big, and I feel like it's the same for Hitman in America as well.
Awesome. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the dominance. I kind of like it. I don't find it boring. I just wish the players also didn't mind it. The players definitely mind it. The players definitely hate the fact that Happy's owning everyone. They have a mental block against Happy. They don't play their perfect game against Happy. So I just wish people had more the mindset, especially you mentioned Hitman. I think especially in NA against Hitman, people just give up against him, man. They just give up. They're like, I don't even want to bother practicing. Like, I am the sort of person that, I want to be like, I want to fucking beat them, right? I want to beat them. Like, do people just give up in Brood War when Flash owns them? He still owns them, but no. Are they giving up in Counter-Strike when Simple is just destroying everyone constantly? No, they want to beat him. I just think the mindset of just, I'll never be able to beat this guy. He just puts in too much time, whatever. I just think it's rough. Like, I just wish it wasn't like that. Obviously, the argument with Hitman and NA is just he does put more time in than everyone, and people don't always necessarily have the time. And I think a similar argument's used for Happy, but it's like, I want to see some confidence from these people to actually be able to beat them finally, to try some new stuff out, to try to innovate against them, to try to to counter him and study him and figure out if he has any flaws, what they are for both the players. I think Hitman certainly has flaws, or else, he wouldn't lose to the players that he loses to. Whereas Happy, it might be more difficult to find these flaws and try to study and find the openings. But people aren't even trying, it feels like. They're not even trying at all, which is a little bit of a bummer. I think that's why it's boring more than anything. If people were trying to beat these guys and not giving up before it even started, it would be more entertaining. But they're not.
That's one side of the story. The other side is Happy or Hitman could switch things up to make it more interesting for the scene. For example, Flash was playing random, right? Infi was starting to become the 4-race king. Happy has played off race for a few ESL Cups, and that was damn hype because he was playing Night Elf and he was still making it to the finals. That was super cool, but it wasn't that hopelessness in the rest of the grid. Everything could happen at any given time.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying like you can't commit full time to Warcraft. Yes, I understand that. I understand that's true. It's impossible to keep up with these guys if it is just straight. I need to spend X amount of time to beat Y player. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate, and that's why it seems boring. It shouldn't be, but it is because of this fact. But yeah, I don't know. Hitman did play some random in ESL Cups, and he did lose all but one. Oh, he lost 2 and won 1. So I mean that made it a little more interesting. Was it more entertaining? Maybe it's just because I'm an orc player, and I think for undeads they really would want to see Happy playing his main race so that it can learn from it. For me, I want to see Hitman playing orc because I'm an orc player and I like watching it. But for other people or people that don't care what race it is, I think the whole random thing could be entertaining, and I think it was for some. For Hitman, the ESL Cups recently.
So another argument in chat is that, of course, you said it already, that not too many people can play Warcraft full time. But there is a Hawk, there is a Foggy, there are people who are playing Warcraft full time, and they are not really close. They have a win every 5 months or something, but that can't be like that's not normal, right? Like that's just not normal.
Yeah. Was it Happy making mistakes, or was it them doing something different? I think there was some things that Foggy did when he was beating Happy that he maybe doesn't necessarily do too well in the series he loses. But I don't know. I'm assuming they've looked back on those games a million times, and I'm just being a pundit that doesn't know what he's talking about when I say like maybe they could figure something out against him, but it's hard to say. There was times when they worked though, whatever they were doing.
All right, guys, let's talk about this shot here from Happy because, we don't know him as being the most expressive player, but I think this kind of embodies, hard work paying off finally. And that 50K. I asked many times if the money popped, in the players' heads before we get to that final spot, before the tournament and matches are finally over, and they were like, usually no, I try not to think of it. But now this is the moment where that 50K pops in your head and you're like, I did pretty good. So he was really happy with himself, obviously. I think it's a really cool photo. Glad the photographer caught that. Like, what do you think about this photo, Neo?
He's looking yoked, honestly. He's kind of ripped.
Right? See the veins everywhere and stuff. I mean, we've seen cool celebrations from him previous Dreamhacks already, also after WGL when he won that thing. So that's not very, very new, but it feels like it's all the work and everything he held back for weeks or maybe even months. And this win also gives him like certainty, right? For I don't know how many months, I don't know how much money he spends, I don't know how expensive his flat is, whatever, but 50K is you can live from 50K for quite a while you figure out what your next step is. So I think there was a lot of stability and just a lot of relief, and it's really cool to see the human side of Happy.
Let's talk about his Twitter game, actually, because for some time he's been tweeting a fair amount. And I mean, usually, every day he has the let's go, the blandest way to go live. But other than that, at least he tweets more than me going live, I guess. Touche. November 22nd, turns out this was actually my last ESL Warcraft Open Cup. GG, glad I won it. Then he linked the grids. And then November 25th, he was already in Sweden, I believe, at the time. WTF, my main Binet account got terminated. Says suspicious activity, War 1. Never installed World of Warcraft or played it. Anyone at such issue? What a present from Blizz. How do I play on high rank W3 champs now? Actually, you got 3 accounts, Happy, so I'm sure you were fine. But yeah, it sucks to get your main account banned because I think it was even the Happy one, which is like his real ID other than like his Smurfs. The bracket was drawn. He was against Focus, whom didn't want to play, and he thought he couldn't play as well. He dared contradict me in the interview. How dare you, Happy? And he tweeted, nice bracket. I thought that was like almost a little funny, you know, because I'm not sure how serious he was. He probably understood that would be funny as well himself. But then he won, tweeted top 4, won the semifinals, tweeted one more step, and then he won the whole thing and tweeted mission accomplished and tag ESL Warcraft Dreamhack and say GG.
I see you haven't liked any of these, Todd. You want to admit?
I mean, yeah. I have a hard time following people that only follow one person, and he's one of them. So I don't actually follow him, but I know of these tweets.
All right.
Screw you, Carson. And once again, thank you very much for keeping competitive Warcraft 3 alive after Reforged was released. Too bad all things, and eventually, yeah. And then he made this post about his future, which we can have a look at now. He waited until the tournament was over. Actually, I was gonna ask him in the interview about his future, and I was like, no, I'm almost guaranteed that this is like a downer of an answer. So I was like, I'll skip that, and instead I'll ask him about some fresh clothes. But yeah, unfortunately, even that was a bit of a disappointing answer. But yeah, about my future, I'm home regarding the future. I'm not going anywhere. Where would I go? I'm not good at anything other than Warcraft 3, but should be understandable with the end of ESL Pro Tour competitive. Warcraft 3 is dead because 1, Asian, rather Chinese, Korean tournaments are very rare. Tournaments do not interest me as they are not paying out prize money to me personally at least, and ping. So let's say they are non-existent anyway. 2, not counting my victory at Dreamhack.
Do you want to talk about this one by one?
Up to you, sure.
So this is obviously kind of fixable, right? Because Foggy is grinding these Asian tournaments, and he's getting invited, and he has great results, like top 4 in a tier 1 tournament, like next. Happy could do that as well. And from all we know, Foggy is getting the payments, and I'm pretty sure there's people who would love to help Happy with that process. But I don't know. Did he make every effort there is to make this work? Or is it just comfort to like have this tried once and now it didn't work and you're not trying anymore? I don't think you can just blame one side here.
Yeah, I think he has a tendency to overreact a little bit, and he was fed up. Like people that don't necessarily work in esports, whether it's like or like that haven't been pro gamer, which is a lot of people that watch World 3, they might not know, but when you win an event, you're not greeted at the end of the event before you go to the airport with a suitcase full of cash. You have to like pester and ask and email all the time about your prize money before they finally send it to you. You have to send a bunch of like info, which sometimes they overly complicate. Actually, there has been a couple tournaments in the past that paid in cash, though. Those were very rare. Those felt very special, but most of the time they don't.
But then you're in trouble that you want to bring like $20,000 into your country, which is oftentimes not super cool either.
Yeah, I mean, usually it was the tournament that paid less that did that, I think. I don't think it was like the ones, yeah, I mean, I would feel very uncomfortable with traveling with this much money personally. But yeah, and I think he had a few experiences with tournaments not paying him, which demotivated him. And honestly, I can empathize because I haven't won many tournaments in my Warcraft 3 career, but 2 of the ones that I won never paid me. And that's a really shitty thing, which demotivates you for sure.
Yeah.
So I can understand his side, but at the same time, I agree with you that, of course, it's not every tournament. Like WGL would pay him, and I think he must be considering right now seriously playing WGL because he smacked everybody in Sweden. It's probably like, I could probably make the finals, maybe even win. It's a lot of money. So he must be for sure considering, like, is he intelligent enough to recognize that maybe even with ping, he might be able to do well. But yeah, it's difficult, right? Like you don't get paid like once or twice. It's like you work so freaking hard to be this good at the game, and then you go through the trouble of playing like the tournaments, you give your best performance, and then you don't even get paid for your win. It's like really, really unfair, or like what you won. So I don't know, Carson, if you have an opinion on this, or
yeah, it was WGL that didn't pay him, right? Am I remembering?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
What was
I'm
it?
very sure I would hold my ballsack under fire that WGL paid him.
Okay.
I think
it was his team, no?
what?
Wasn't it his team? His team owed him money, then they paid him, but there was also maybe a tournament or two that didn't pay him. But I don't know which one
So-
it is.
I'm kind of sure because I did some math once. Because he said, oh, what did he say? Like he's missing around $10,000 or something, and WGA prize pool when he won was way more.
Okay.
Um, So I think it was a Douyu tournament and one other tournament that was not WGL related.
Yeah. Yeah, because I personally like, I mean, if it happened once and like so I don't fuck with that. Like you do that once and I'm never fucking coming back. I'm not working with those people ever again. They can go fuck themselves. If you don't pay me, you fuck me over. If I was a player, I'd be like this too. I'm not fucking going back. If it's something like hypothetically, like a WCG fucks you over, no, fuck you. I'm done. Whoever invited me to the tournament organizers, the tournament itself, I'm never going back. I'm never ever going back. So if there was a situation where Happy knows that he's been fucked over by specifically a group of people, a tournament organizer, fuck you guys. You did this to yourselves. I'm not giving second chances for this sort of shit. I that's how I personally operate with these sorts of things. And maybe Happy feels the same, but again, we don't entirely. It might have been his team or whatever. So in which case, I don't know why he wouldn't compete. I was always under the impression that it was a big Chinese tournament organizer, but I obviously don't know.
Carson, you're a musician. Maybe a musician, right? That's what you say.
Yes,
Fucking hell.
musician. Yes.
Every time
Yes,
I say it, it
top
sounds
line.
like magician.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah.
Maybe it's time to write a song. You didn't pay me. Fuck you. I'm never going back. Kraft,
Yeah.
do you have any experience with that? With like something not paying you, or like an organization or a tournament? And what do you think about Happy saying he doesn't want to play Asian tournaments because he's worried about that?
Never. But yeah, if it's big money, I understand him. How can he sleep good if they don't pay him? So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is
Yeah.
kind of tricky to get paid from China, and that is the case at least for Europe, and I'm pretty sure it's also very complicated to transfer money from China to Russia. Like it's not the wire transfer you do from a German bank to another German bank. Sometimes you need some documents, and then the Chinese bank comes in and wants more documents and more proof and yada yada yada. It is a complicated process. So yeah. I don't know.
Super.
Okay, let's continue with the post. Number 2, not counting my victory at Dreamhack, I earned about $25,000 this year from tournaments. Some is rather shy, considering I'm absolutely dominating player in the region, more than 20k out of those from Dreamhack Online and ESL Open Cups. So make your conclusions what awaits me in next year. Even if community will be donating 20k to every W3 Champions postseason tournament prize pool, considering their conditions, ping and prize money distribution, even winning them all, still very small amount for a year. Sure, I'm also streaming and probably something else, which is my personal business, considering my income, but stream not really bringing me anything significant for a long time compared to what it was years ago when I was making few times more from it than my tournament winnings. And without Warcraft 3, there will be no income from stream for me almost. There's basically no motivation for me to play Warcraft 3 without tournaments at all. Why would I practice of just play for fun much? Well, I can play a few hours every 2 days, but it's a time waste. So yeah, do not know what I'm going to be doing. Probably nothing. I have no plans to switch to Age of Empires 4. I don't even like how it visually looks. Don't even want to try it out. Won't be going to SC2 as well. I left it because I never really liked it. I only played it because of money. I wanted to write about it after most recent online Dreamhack. I just didn't want it to spoil my own moods. My victory and spare 50k didn't change a thing in this situation at all. And it could not. It's not just about money, as I wrote above, without motivations. Why would I play a lot?
All right, who wants to go first for this one? 'Cause-
Neo.
Why always me? So
Because you're about to explode. You look...
No. I'm totally fine with that. I just have a different opinion on it. So, this was something that we, I think, discussed in Sweden, looking at the year's earnings of Foggy and Happy prior to Dreamhack. Pretty much the same. I think Foggy had like 3k less, but that goes once again into the argument of Foggy playing all the Chinese tournaments and Happy doesn't. And Foggy is playing most of the War 3 Champions finals unhappy declined the recent one with the biggest prize pool. So it's kind of his fault that he's a little picky about his tournaments. And I mean, do we really have to talk about his stream? Like, if you ban 50% of the internet, then obviously your revenue isn't that great.
He's live right now playing Diablo. And I'm still banned.
Probably.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. He's got Tal S. All right, let's see that
Yeah,
stealth making, get some increased run speed.
Dude, he's not even
Nice,
accepting
nice.
unbanned requests. What the fuck? It's fucked up. This is worse than mine. Okay, go ahead, Leo.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole point, right? Like, it's his choice to not play in big Chinese tournament way, or in big tournaments where he feels uncomfortable. It's his choice to ban potential customers from his stream just because he's getting annoyed. And it's also his choice of not being more inviting to potential big audience that is the English audience, because he bans everything English from his stream unless you pay him, I guess, or donate. I don't know. I don't watch his stream. So most of this is his own fault. Point one. Point two, he said he's not playing Age of Empires because he doesn't like it, but then he also said he played StarCraft because of the money and he plays Warcraft because of the money. Then why not play Age of Empires because of the money? It's no difference. It's literally no difference. I don't know. This post is there to complain to me.
There's so much in this. So it has to be said before commenting that he says it's not about the money, but his actions sort of say differently. And I'm one that believes more so in doing more than saying. You can say all you want, but like how you act on stream and how his stream operates, is obviously is different. And he says it's not enough money for him. Like, he does know that he's a pro gamer, right? The industry that he's in is pro. Like this is, you should be happy you're making any money doing this fucking thing. Like, has he had, and this isn't meant to be too insulting, but I mean, I washed dishes for 3 years. I bartended for 2 years. I've done shit jobs. Even if I was making 10% more money doing that, that fucking sucks. Like, I play music now and I do this shit. I don't care how much fucking money I make. This is fucking great. If Happy's gonna sit around and play fucking Warcraft all day and he made $75,000 in tournament earnings this year. God knows he probably made like 30 grand at least last year, maybe even fucking more, probably more than that, probably at least 50K. So, I'm making 100,000 US dollars living in Russia, and that's not enough. Fucking hell, I think 20K would be enough for playing video games full time. It's not enough. Like, does he want to go work as a line cook? How is this not a reasonable amount of money? I've done shit jobs. They fucking suck. I much prefer doing this. I don't care if I make bad money. Jesus, like, I just like, what is enough? How much is enough? I'm sorry, this isn't League of Legends. Everyone there's millionaires. Jesus.
I think he probably
100 Gs. He's making 100 Gs a
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
Todd.
Probably more, but he probably
Yeah.
looks at other games and he's like, these guys in the top esports, they're making like 500K, a million or something a year, like the top of each game,
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't think he's able to really take in consideration how big Warcraft 3 is in comparison, in terms of player base, in terms of viewership. It's like not really comparable. Like for the how old the game is, like the fact that it still had a champion, like a league, like a championship circuit. I think it's pretty crazy, like the amount of money that he was able to make. But he probably looks at it as like, maybe if he had lost here, he wouldn't make that 50K, and he would be like, not that much. Also, I guess in Russia it can be expensive depending on like your lifestyle, where you live in Moscow and stuff. I'm sure like housing is not cheap. But the post is a little contradictory as well, because like he writes, I left it because I never really liked it, talking about StarCraft 2. I only played it because of money. And then he's like, it didn't change a thing, and it's not just about money. Well, you just said it was about money because you play these games just for, or maybe he means he cannot do something just for money anymore. But I mean, if you're a gifted video gamer, maybe you just I don't know, stick through it and like somehow find a way to enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Embrace the
argument
process,
could be-
Carson.
An argument could be made that, like, yeah, he's the best in the world at something. He should be, obviously, he deserves the money he makes. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. You know, I'm not saying that people that are very, very good at something, very talented at something as he is, shouldn't be compensated. But I mean, you cannot compare it 1-to-1 with games like Dota, because being a professional Dota player is literally like getting in the NFL. You have to be fucking outrageous. You have to be 1 in a million to be one of those millionaires. And yes, these players are extremely good in Warcraft 3 that are at the top and they work very hard, but it's not the same being in the number 1 Dota team in the world and being the number 1 Warcraft 3 player. It's not a 1-to-1. They're still very, very talented in Warcraft 3, but it's not the same. You're not competing with millions of 5-year-olds with 800 APM to get there. You're just not.
Yeah, so he's streaming Diablo apparently now. And to be honest, this, like what's happening right now, is very reminiscent to me to what happened when he left his team, right? Where he was like, I don't even want to play tournament anymore. I'm not going to play tournaments anymore. And then he went for like, I don't even know what he was doing. I think he was playing 4v4 or something. He stopped playing 1v1 for a while. And then I did a lot of theorizing about, like, you know, how he would be back, in what capacity, if he would manage to stay competitive while only practicing 4v4, because he was clearly going to play the ESL Open Cups at least. And then shortly after, he was back at it. So I think he's greatly overestimating his ability to take a step away from the game. As long as there are tournaments, I think he's going to stick around and play them. Like he overly dramatized the way he felt here, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think, like, maybe for a week or two, he's going to play a lot of Diablo 2, and then he's going to be like, okay, this is a completely garbage game, and it's time to go back to Warcraft, and like he's going to be back on the ladder again.
How about this guy was grinding so hard with one-on-one for the past couple of weeks? How about he's just having a little fun? Or it's a sponsored stream? Because he also has that from time to time, right? Where he's playing Fallout or any other games. And if you play 4-4 for fun, then play 4-4 for fun. If you're playing Diablo for fun, I mean, Todd, you're playing PUBG on your stream. I'm not saying Todd is going away from Warcraft. He played PUBG for 2 hours. This guy just won the world championship. Let's give him a week of time to have fun.
And what's wrong with just admitting you're doing it for the money? If he is, that's fine. And he's still extremely talented at what he does. His stream's still entertaining when you're not in an ad. Like, it's still great to watch someone incredibly gifted at their craft doing their craft on stream. You could admit you're doing it for the money. If you're doing it for the money, like, I just don't want this wish-wash back and forth. It's not for the money. Oh, I'm gonna sign up because 50 G's, baby. Like, I don't, like, come on. Come on, it's all right. Lots of people do lots of things for the money. Whatever, man.
What would you do for 50K, Carson?
Anything.
Carson at Back to Warcraft if you want to reach out.
I'm 25, all right? Let's get me paid, okay?
Dude.
Getting paid.
Too old for the big bucks, mate.
Prav, what do you think about this? Happy saying that.
No, I don't get him. We are not the same. Yeah. I can't understand him. Yeah, he already win everything. We have a lot of money with only a game. So a game we supposed to be dead. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Sad.
All right, guys. I think I would like to wrap up soon. So one last question then for you guys, and then we'll do shout outs. What do you think is important for Warcraft 3's future to thrive from everybody? Like the community. Like, what would you like to see from the community? I'm sure it's like engagements, just keep watching the game, cheer for the players, whatever. But is there some things that you can think of maybe outside of that, or like just in general your view on what you think is going to be important to keep the game going strong next year when we're losing when we don't have the ESL Pro Tour anymore?
Yeah, I think I said this before. I think we need to give good players a stable platform to continue playing and give them a reason to play not only w3 Champions Finals because they're only once every 3 months, but more content outside of cups. Longevity is important as well, so fans are not only looking from one cup to the next, but have something to look forward for to build hype around. So that is at least my biggest goal, to do some kind of league with longevity for 2022.
Carson?
Well, to say something other than that, even though that is very, very important, I suppose I would say, I mean, Twitch is a very important side of this whole esport thing. So, give new streamers a chance, support the new streamers, watch the new streamers. There's so many one viewer Andys that could end up being the next Likings Pro TV, and God knows we need people like that. We need people making content. We need people to be entertaining. We need personalities in the scene. So, support the smaller streamers, and smaller streamers, turn a fucking cam on, all right? And turn the mic on, get some notifications, all right? Jesus Christ. I mean, stop being so fucking boring, okay? We want some goddamn
my
content
God.
in this scene, okay? That's what we need. Some fucking content. We need some big personalities. Let's see it. Let's see it, okay? That's what I want. Both sides. It goes both ways, guys.
I don't think I've ever heard Carson this fired up before. This is amazing. And cursing this much either. Krav?
Sorry, Todd.
Yeah, listen, we have choosing, okay? First, we have to get Amurant as player.
Yeah,
sure.
Now that's content, crap. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Oh my God.
And second, 5 race. 5. I don't know, robot or what the fuck.
Oh, you want the Naga race?
Oh yeah, she's sexy.
All right.
Todd, what about you?
I think staying positive, and like doing good things, like dropping by streamers, saying hello. You don't need to necessarily like sub or donate or whatever, but just staying positive around the game. Like this whole dead game attitude, I think is kind of shit.
Yeah.
And of course, this game tilts me beyond belief, and you're gonna catch me every day that I'm laddering saying how much I fucking hate it, and I do hate it, but also kind of love it, and that's why I keep playing it. But yeah, I fucking hate it as well. It's a piece of shit game.
Well, that's a bit. I mean, like Todd likes to keep things positive.
No, but like, yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like outside of that, when you don't catch me molding because the game is, in my opinion, not balanced the best that it should be, and there is some designs that bother me, I still really, really like it. And in Back to Warcraft, I'm a fucking angel in the chat, or like if you catch me on the Dreamhack stream, or if you catch me like here in this show, or like casting is so fucking easy. I casted all day. And I wasn't negative the entire day. I was super fucking positive and I was happy and I was telling jokes all day. But then as soon as I play this game, I want to fucking throw my monitor out of the window, outside. So that's the only moment where you will see me like being tilted about it or something. But it's still a pretty good game. It's still very nice. Unfortunately, it's not the best version of itself that it could be. And I do hope that it will change. We didn't talk about this, but I think in the future, it would be nice if we still got some balanced patches. And there's been some talks of whether maybe w3's champion should take over with that, but I think us as a community, the best thing we can do is just to stay interested in it, stay positive around it, tune in, watch stuff. Today, I was casting a lot, but I also caught a little bit of the Warcraft 3 Info League. It was pretty fun. I'm looking forward to watching more in the next Sundays and stuff. I'll tune in to whoever is live. Like Johnny Cage has been like today. Actually, was pretty sick. A lot of players were streaming their own games. Johnny Cage dies. Sonic. Actually, maybe not Sonic, but Hawk, Foggy was streaming as well. There's still amazing games happening every single day, and I hope to see more tournaments. I talked about it earlier, like the Call number 2, and also we had the Christmas Bash were happening. I feel like a lot of these guys that make the tournaments open, they are what drives the scene as well. But obviously, you guys at Back to Warcraft, I'm sure can make amazing things happen. Ante still has plans to make tournaments happen, so there's still a lot that's happening, and I think it's important to still have that. The moment none of the things are happening anymore and the player base is dwindled to 20 people, that's when you can start calling Warcraft 3 dead. But before that, shut the fuck up, I guess. Let's do some shoutouts. Let's start with Neo, and then we'll do Carson, and then Krav, and then, yeah, we'll just say goodbye. What do you want people to follow? What do you want the good people of Twitch to do for you, Neo?
I think everybody here knows me and us already.
That's very arrogant.
I know, but it's also true. So I want the people to follow the Nations League Twitter account, but I struggle to find it. Can someone help me out?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Nation. Well, let's look up Nation on Twitter. That's a good start. Oh, I found it.
History Nation. Let me check.
I found it.
Carson got it. Because I think Nations League is the most hyped thing next to
This is
War 3
it, right?
Champions. and I'm incredibly excited for this. And these people get too little love. They have a Twitter account, which is rare for a tournament, that a tournament has their own Twitter account. So W3 Nations League is where you can find them. They post. Nice, well done, Todd. They post about this tournament on Frenchcraft. The lineups are already insane. Germany looks unbeatable, but maybe France is coming with a cool team. Maybe Canada is coming with a cool team. Maybe Russia, Ukraine, you never know. These guys put in so much work, and it's going to be so awesome. And I want this to be supported big time.
Wasn't there a bunch of lineups posted earlier? I thought I saw that
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's on the homepage.
Well, not on their. These guys need to get their
Yeah.
Twitter together because this is some dog shit.
Wait, isn't
Coverage
that the
here.
second one? Scroll here. Where they go? Several new teams. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but then
I
click on-
want to see a
click on the link.
screenshot of the lineups here. What the fuck is this Twitter game, dude? I don't
Click-
want to have to
click
do
on-
anything.
click on the link. Of,
I don't want to
on
click
the
a link. I want to see it here. No, yeah, sure. Which one? This one?
The first link. No,
Yeah.
G2
yep.
Esport
Yeah,
Sim
yeah, this
Racing.
one.
Click on that one. I want to see that.
Shut the fuck up, Carson. You're getting fired.
Wait, where is it?
Down.
Bro,
No.
are you kidding? I went through all this effort and I don't even get the freaking lineups?
Dude,
See,
where
that's
is
the
this
problem
lineup?
right there.
They're great, okay?
Oh, I think Hippo gave it to me. Let's see.
Good guy, Hippo.
Okay, I got it. But yeah, guys, follow that Twitter and Nation Wars, get your fucking Twitter game together because this is unacceptable.
Is it unreasonable to say that these websites should maybe be in English?
It is in
French
English.
draft.
Yeah, I know. But,
The news
you
is
know,
in English.
Yeah.
Usually it's a
True.
French platform.
Mm.
Take what you
As
got,
soon as-
Carson.
As soon as I click, a video plays as well. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Neo started to plug this and we're just dissing the shit out of
Yeah, just shut the fuck up. Make your own Nations League.
It's
I'm
gonna be a
follow
great.
this
It's gonna
one.
be great. It's gonna be great. I always follow it on Twitter, as everyone else
Good.
should. But
Good.
I think they got above 200. I'm just saying, I've had to play in Russian leagues in the past and navigate the website. It's I can only speak one language. I can only read one language, guys. I mean, come on.
Okay. That's my shout out. Love you all.
Carson.
Well, I'm a shill, so I'll shout out my own stuff. Carson with 3 N's on Twitch. I've been streaming my own personal ladder streams. If you want to see me get really angry at the chat and ban people, because that's just the reality when you play this game. But God, is it fun recently for me. And I might be doing some coaching with Hitman, trying to get me up to Grandmaster soon. I'm going to be grinding. I'm actually going to try to get good at this game. God knows how long that'll last for. Maybe a month, and then I'll quit again like I always do. But yeah, Carson with 3 N's. That is my Twitch. I will probably stream tomorrow and the next day, and then I'll be on Back to Warcraft on Wednesday, maybe Thursday, probably Friday, one of those 3 days. Theorycraft will be back soon, and then my Twitter's right down there. I think I'm almost at 1,000 followers, so follow that too.
Let's fucking
Because
go,
I am
man.
a shill. Yes, and my PayPal is no, just kidding. It's but it is in my Twitch though. You want to send me some money? Again, I'm 25. Try to get that.
Pay me,
trying to get my
otherwise fuck
bag here.
you. I'm going away. Prav.
Yeah, big shout out to you, Todd, to Back to Warcraft, all Carlson, Neo, Remo. Thanks for your job. Thanks to the community to stay strong. Thanks to my team playing Ducks. Yes, Starbuck, Ozzy, all the French community, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Hope we have a good days in the future together.
Thank you so much, guys. Big shout out to all of you. Make sure to follow these guys if you don't yet. Let's get Carson over 1K. Come on, this guy should have 10K followers already.
True.
This is ridiculous. And yeah, much love, all of you. I'm going to be playing in the Nation Wars, actually. I guess we didn't really talk about tournaments because we had our own topics already, but maybe in the future tunnel. But yeah, we'll be playing for Team France with Krav and with Wiz as well in the chat. And we're going to
Nice.
smack some people. We're
You
gonna
gotta get your ass kicked by Axlord again.
Content.
Screw you, man. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. See you tomorrow and on my stream. And yeah, much love, everybody. See you later. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.